What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 19 and episode number 4,127. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hart. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack, ring it down.
All right, here we go. Florida McDonald's offers a not-so-happy meal with a side of lead. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, you can get new tires on your car and moonshine from a shed. Yeah. Farmer gets watched back 50 years after he thought it was eaten by a cow. A gun store owner shows how a firearm goes pow. And a French swimmer bids adieu to his Olympic hopes. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. Perfect eyesight. A full head of hair. Straight white teeth. An operatic singing voice. These are just a few examples of how people, quote-unquote, won the genetic lottery, at least according to a survey from BuzzFeed. And winning the genetic lottery doesn't always mean that you're some gorgeous specimen of humanity. Sometimes you luck out internally. There's a 72-year-old woman says she has good bones. She admits that she's clumsy, takes plenty of falls, never broken a bone. while another person has high demand blood because of their platelet count. Now, not everybody is a genetic winner, of course. Sometimes it's a mixed bag, right? So, ask yourself, would you rather be some stunning beauty with cystic fibrosis or look like Shrek with a hangover but have a clean bill of health? And in the end, it doesn't really matter because there's always something we change about ourselves. 26% of people said they would change their eye color. Every woman I have ever known in my life who has straight hair wishes their hair was curly, or at least curlier. Every short person wants to be taller. Taller people wish they're a little bit shorter, especially on a plane, and on it goes. But today we're looking at both sides of the genetic lottery coin and letting you either get in a solid humble brag or throw yourself a well-deserved pity party. What we want to know is, how did you win the genetic lottery? Or how did you lose the genetic lottery?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All Patrols, away we go. Welcome to Season 19, Episode number 4127. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeats. Exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it, but you find people doing bad things in the news each and every week.
Oh, yeah.
You bring us 3 stories. It is up to us to determine, out of the 3, which one sucks the least. How brutal is this week's Who Sucks Less?
It's not brutal by any stretch. And in fact, I would argue that the stories I'm bringing today, all of us have probably been guilty of 2 of the 3 stories. It's just
okay, all right.
Things that happen, people get caught, and I will share them with you.
Who Sucks Less coming up. Also, we'll have some updated locations on the Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewing. Another chance for you to try it if you have not yet. This Saturday from 2 till 4, absolutely free. The Lime in Kirkland. Next stop on the Men's Room World Tour. We'll have the sausage there. We'll have the salsa there. We'll have the IPA as well. And we'll support the Fisher House by drinking, eating, and having a good couple hours of day drinking fun. Party's absolutely free. Just have to be 21 years of age.
Yeah, man. Come on by. I'm pumped for this one.
First time that we have been to been to Kirkland for a formal event of any type.
Which is crazy. Been there for 19 years, and this is the first time we made it to Kirkland.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great time. Lime is an awesome bar. They've got a stage. They do live music, pool tables in there, and everything else.
Ted has given it his seal of approval, as Ted has been to virtually every bar in Washington State.
I have, but I had a period where I spent a lot of time in Kirkland.
All right.
And the Lime was definitely one of the spots we'd go to.
Okay. This Saturday from 2 until 4, we will be there. Stop by and help support the Fisher House. No ticket is required. Party's absolutely free. Okay, today on the question, we're going to talk about genetics and maybe how you have won the genetic lottery or how you have lost the genetic lottery in life.
Or maybe it's a mixed bag. I mean, one of these texts that came in, I think this is the perfect example of a mixed bag. Says, I think I hit the lottery and missed it at the same time. Most of my dad's side of the family lives into their 90s or early 100s.
All right.
But my mom's side of the family has dementia. Should be fun down the road.
Okay. You can look if you kind of take a page from your father, a page from your mother. You kind of understand in a way what you took from each one of them.
Sure.
As far as your intelligence, your looks, your mannerisms, your temperament, all these different things come into play. And even with your own children, you can look down and say, hey, man, I like your son, for example, Steve. Your son hit the genetic lottery based on the fact that I don't know too much about your wife and her athletics abilities, her athleticism at all.
Look, I'm not cutting her down, but by her own admission, she was terrible. She played softball. Yep. Her father was the softball coach. Now, he kicked her off the team.
It's not that you are a bad athlete. It's just that you are not an athlete.
Right.
However, your son can pick up just about any sport.
Any freaking sport.
And absolutely dominate. And figure it out quickly and be efficient and be pretty good at it in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's annoying. But very true.
But so those are the conundrums where you go, okay, where did this come from?
Was your dad, good at sports?
I don't know. He never really talks about it, so I guess not, maybe. I mean, he's definitely a super strong, super fit guy, but I don't know that he did a lot of, team athletic sports. But he was always very active when I was growing up.
I was going to say, maybe it is your wife's side.
Could be.
Actually,
it might be. Maybe a lot of her
sisters.
Two sisters. Yeah, and her brother. Yeah, all definitely athletes. Her brother played basketball, still plays basketball exceptionally well to this day. He just didn't luck out on the height.
Right.
But if you watch this guy dribble, his skill set, excellent, but he's like, dude, I can't dunk. You know, he won't miss a shot, but it's like, I can't dunk. He went to Villanova. He said there's no possible way I was going to play in Villanova, but he did try out. I mean, he's that guy.
Well, so I look at my kids, and I say, okay, look, both of my kids were honor society, whatever they did. Like even my daughter, when she graduated college, was in the thing where they give you a
special colored
scarf to wear around your neck. I don't know. Look, man. It's like having a disease. You only know about it, know how to pronounce it if you've ever got it.
Right.
It's same thing with cum laude.
Exactly. I was never even. Yes, she was.
It's not anything that ever affected any of us.
So I don't remember it because I was not even on that level to even understand and know what that means. All I know is you're smarter, much so, than me.
I think it's Latin for you're smarter than your parents.
So on my daughter's side, I would like to think without question they got their intelligence from their mom. Thank God, and without question they're unbelievably beautiful. Their good looks came from me.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I do.
For sure.
I really believe that. Well, not really, but I definitely know from the intelligence standpoint that they definitely got that from their mom without question.
It's the weird thing about looking at your kids. You know, when I look at my son, I'm basically looking at my spitting image. And when I look at my daughter, I'm basically looking at my wife. But then temperament-wise, I tend to get my daughter a little more. She's a little out there, you know what I mean? But we have a way of communicating, and then my wife and my son are so close it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
you're not in the womb, right? You
just like you and your mother and your brother and your father.
Absolutely. 100%.
You can kind of pick and see, okay, there's a reason that your brother is a NASA scientist, engineer, whatever he does, and that's because... And not that your mom's dumb by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I'm telling you, says she's stupid.
It's just the fact that your father.
I'd say Miles says that the reason that Adrian is so smart is because of Dad, not you, Mom. I just want to let you know that.
Well, I truly believe that. Like I would say that too.
Not helping.
No, but I'm being dead serious. If you look at your children,
do you need another shovel?
No, you already know. Yeah. You know exactly.
My mother's going to slap you when she sees you.
Miles says you're dumb.
But your mom,
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
But I really believe that. But you're more like your mother. The difference is your mother is attractive. You're not. So
right.
You never know how things are going to transfer down. But
we always find out because, if no matter what my kids do, if it's something not to my wife's liking, she will always mention to me, they get that from you. And most of the time, she's dead on. Flip side of that is, my wife would get really pissed off at my daughter. Because when you tell a kid something they just don't feel like hearing or something they don't feel like doing, a lot of kids roll their eyes, right? So my daughter is an eye roller. And it doesn't bug me nearly as much as it bugs my wife. But I point out, babe, the reason her eye rolls don't bother me is because you're the frickin' eye roller. You roll your eye. She gets that from you. So when you sit there and you get kind of extra annoyed when she rolled her eyes, and it doesn't really mean anything, I'm like, I deal with this all the time, but I've been with you at this point for 20 years, so I kind of let it roll off my back. But she'll even say, is that how it feels when I roll my eyes? Right. I'm like, yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? She gets that from you. But my son likes to run in the room and make a big production out of farting. And my wife will instantly, he gets that from you. I'm like, I know that he does.
Yeah.
That's just how we work, man.
I got hemorrhoids from my dad. he had them bad. It's genetics. It runs in your family if you have them. My dad had the same operation that I did many years ago. I still have problems every once in a while. The operation did as best it could. But
do you think you pass that on to your daughters?
I sure hope not.
Because, I mean, look, man,
I
will say, genetically speaking, if we hit the lottery at all, no one in my family, reasonably speaking, gets particularly sick. There's not a long history of cancer. None of us just get sick very easily. We've been very, very healthy, and I hope to pass that down to my kids. The only thing that I know is going to be disappointing, more likely for my son than my daughter, is they like to make fun of the fact that I'm bald. And he has these lovely flowing locks that everyone loves so much. And I tell him, like, dude, in your early 20s, that stuff that makes you quote-unquote cute, it's going to start to go away, brother. But his response is, because they think it's the funniest thing I do in radio, they're like, we're going to go to the hair place you talk about.
I think that's probably a pretty good idea.
He was like, look, you're the one who told me about it. Apparently it works. And he said, according to you, you can't get it done because, well, your scalp's been dead for too long. Like, it's a good point. Touche.
I would say in the Smith family, the easiest one is the calves. So if you're a guy, it's good. You got big, muscular calves. People like that. But the women in our family absolutely despise it.
Big, muscular calves as well.
Because they have it as well.
Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even my cousin Kelly's probably the smallest one of them. But, even she has big calves for a woman. Okay. So it's like, it's nice genetically for the dudes.
For the dudes, yeah.
But it sucks for the girls in our family. Like, what was it, 10 years ago? Like, boots for women. Like, knee high, right? It became a popular thing.
They couldn't get them on?
No. My one cousin had to tell my other cousin about a website you could find that had wider ones so you could pull them up over your calves.
Oh, my God. Ted, you like this one.
Oliver, they're not called fat boots.
Oliver Rue.
Jesus Christ,
well, they're bigger than normal. It's like, hey, if you got fat feet, you're wearing New Balance. If you have wide, big, fat feet.
Is that what New Balance is for, basically?
Man, it's not really there, like, on the website, but if you know anything.
But
I have wide feet, and you know. And the older you get, the wider your feet get, and you'll look down at old men, man. And I'm talking about people our age and older.
Yeah.
They're wearing either Skechers,
for sure,
which are wide as well, or they're wearing New Balance. And not only that, but guys have given up on tying their shoes at some certain age, which I'm not sure.
Now you don't have to lean down
where that line exists.
I mean, New Balance is famous for having tennis shoes in widths.
Right. Yes. And you could buy them, and they're available, where Converse are not available.
No, they are
you
not.
either have narrow, flat feet, or you do not wear these shoes. So Oliver Rue.
Or you put some Dr. Scholl's things on.
You can do that, too. He is listed on the University of Florida basketball roster as the tallest basketball player of all time.
All time?
This is all of basketball. This is not high school. This is not college. This is every single person that has ever stepped on the court. He is only a freshman. Rue is in the Guinness World Record holder for the tallest teenager and has long been a force to reckon with in the paint. He played in high school. According to the Gators roster, the Montreal native was 6'1" at the age of 8 years old.
Jesus.
8 years old, he was 6'1".
What would they do? Just say something like Pop Warner, all right? This is my 8-year-old kid. This is the 8-year-old team. I understand that he's 6'1". And would they let him play, or would they make him play with bigger kids?
They probably would move him up. He was 6'11" by the 6th grade. He crossed the 7-foot mark before the 7th grade. He is now 7'9", 290 pounds. Bonus, doctors believe this kid, is still growing.
For real?
Because he's continued to grow throughout his high school years. He's only a freshman. They don't know if he stopped growing yet or not.
Right.
Not only that, when you look at, say, someone like Manute Bol, all right? Not a lot of muscle on Manute Bol.
Just no muscle.
Very tall dude. Now, his son, a little bit more put together.
Yeah.
This guy is 290 pounds. So even at 7'9", he does not look rail thin, ridiculously skinny. He looks in shape for his height and his age.
Do we think he won the genetic lottery, though? Because I feel like there's two sides to this. And Ted, I think you'll agree. 7'9", you've won the genetic lottery if you're playing basketball, which he is.
Mm-hmm.
But if your skill set does not prove good enough to translate to the pros, I don't know what your source of income is for all the other health problems you're going to. Because look, if you're 7'9" and you get an NBA contract, that's awesome. That's awesome for anybody, but it's awesome for you because at 7'9", there is no bed you can sleep in that is not custom made.
There's no shower.
Forget all that. Think about clothes.
Clothes.
Like we had a 7-footer on the basketball team when I was at DeMatha. Now, granted, he got a full ride to Maryland when he was like a sophomore because he was that tall. But you got to special order everything.
And it's
they
more
just don't
expensive.
make jeans with that kind of length.
No, they don't. And that's the thing. So if you don't, and like you said, you got the full ride to Maryland. That's great because at least you get an education too. You don't get that NBA contract and you make, I don't know, the U.S. average of $45,000 a year or something. Like, how are you ordering your clothes? How are you fitting in a car? So in other words, NBA contract with that kind of money, you can buy the things you realize, need to do just to fit in your own freaking home.
Do you realize that
there
are a lot of hotels that are boutique in a way for professional athletes, depending on the sport. So, for an example, we are beside a hotel that frequently houses NFL teams.
Yes.
All right. They have beds that are bigger than normal beds for 20 to 30 rooms because it's an NFL team.
Now, they're contracted out with that hotel chain
correct.
as well.
And they go in there, whatever that California King is, whatever the big bed is, NBA. All right. They'll contract that hotel room out in Milwaukee if they're going to play there, 3 or 4 times during the year for the whole year because they have 7 rooms that'll accommodate people over 6'8".
Right.
And all these different things and showers.
Right, think about the showers.
In the rooms, all these things that you don't really think about.
Because we're of normal size, man. So that's what I mean.
So too comfortably. And the plane that they flew there on, oftentimes is a charter. That's got to be specialty built out for guys who are 7 feet tall,
but
6 feet 9.
If you get an NBA contract and you are that size, you definitely hit the genetic lottery. If the skill set does not carry into the NBA and you've got to get a regular job like the rest of us, then I feel like it's a setback.
Yeah, I'm sure if you talk to Shaquille O'Neal, he would tell you all the wonderful things that he has been afforded based on his talent and what he did playing basketball, and more so than that, what he does as a broadcaster. Right?
Sure.
But if you asked him to start listing off everyday negative things that have gone on in his life based on his size, he's not just tall, he is big.
Right.
So there's a double whammy there.
Even when he was in college, when he started down at LSU, like he was already physically kind of filled out.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks skinny for Shaq.
Right.
But you're right. He doesn't look like Bull.
Right. Look, you get off that airplane, if LSU is playing Georgia in a game of basketball or whatever the hell it is, you get in on a bus and you go in the hotel. There's no seat for him on the bus.
Right.
He needs 2 seats just to sit down on a bus. So I'm sure that he could go off on more of a laundry list of just some of the hurdles being that size.
Sure.
Than some of his accomplishments, as far as his professional career and on the court.
But just based on his size, he's probably most thankful for the fact that he made that money to be able to afford the things to accommodate being an unusually large individual.
So here's where
remember David Robinson, right? Famous center
for Navy and San Antonio.
Right. And I forget what his nickname was, but it was because he went to the Naval Academy.
The Admiral.
The Admirable. So people are like, why didn't he ever do his service? It's like, well, he grew. When he was at the Naval Academy, he grows like 5 or 6 inches. So he grew out of the regulations,
right?
Basically for anybody and for any job in the damn Navy.
Yeah. No, they're talking about. I read an article the other day about one of the wonderful things that Bill Walton did. Was one of his old friends is his dad was getting up there in age, World War II veteran, and he was deployed on the Midway.
All right.
So Bill lives in San Diego. He says, "Hey man, I want I'm going to take your dad down there one more time." So they all got together. They met up at the Midway, did a tour. Bill had set it up where he got some kind of award as far as being there, still being alive, being an active service member who still got the tour. They had a band out there for him. He surprised him with all this stuff and did the tour. He said what he was most amazed was the tour was 3 hours, and Bill Walton basically just bent over
the whole time,
and squatted down the entire time, and
walked to get in and out.
Walked with the gentleman just to get him through. And he said it just looked like the most uncomfortable thing in the world, but Bill Walton didn't care. He just wanted him to see the ship. There's no way. I mean, David Robinson, taller than Bill Walton. So you think about that as far as the ability to even work on the biggest, boat you got.
Yeah, he's not getting out. Right. There was no job in the Navy David Robinson could do.
No. They do say that there was a Chinese basketball player named Sun Mingming, and he was also 7'9". So this guy Rube basically ties him. They also note some of the tallest basketball players in history. Former NBA center George Mirasan, he is 7'7". Manute Bol, 7'6". Here's an interesting thing about the Florida basketball team. I don't know. You never know how a team's going to play, but they did add this kid out of Washington State before they signed him. and the Washington State center is listed at 6'11", and Rue makes this guy look small. So technically, they could have a 6'11" guy playing power forward on the same court with the center who is 7'9". So hopefully they got a good shooting guard and
And Mike just had a great Sean Bradley fact.
Yeah. What's that?
He was 7'6". The number he wore, 76. And for a period, he played for
the 76. All right.
Uh-huh. How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification.
For those in the market for flavor, there's Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, a flavorful drink that's a modern twist on a Mexican street classic with 4 vibrant and refreshing flavors. Pineapple, watermelon, hibiscus, and cucumber lime, made with a splash of real fruit juice. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas are perfect for any fiesta, small or big. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, boldly authentic, vibrantly flavorful. Drink responsibly. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas flavored beers imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Hibiscus contains juice only for color.
Picture this. It's blazing hot outside and you need to get to work. You get into your car and turn on the AC to get cold air pumping as soon as possible. But it doesn't work. Instead, blowing hot air out of your vents and directly into your face. No, your car doesn't hate you. This issue is commonly caused by low refrigerant due to leaks in the air conditioning system. And there's an easy, all-in-one solution that will restore the cold air in no time. There's no need to go to the shop and pay lots of money when you can save time and money recharging yourself with AC Pro Recharge Kits. AC Pro Recharge Kits make restoring cold air easy for even those with zero DIY experience. And the AC Pro app offers clear, vehicle-specific instructions to help you get the job done in less than 10 minutes. So pick up an AC Pro Recharge Kit at any store selling auto products and confidently restore your car's cold air yourself today. Be a pro with AC Pro.
Welcome to a trip you'll never forget in Denver, where summer sunshine sparks mountain adventure, where neighborhood strolls lift spirits sky high, and where music takes center stage at Red Rocks. Catch a baseball game at Coors Field, step into new dimensions at Meow Wolf, and take flavor to the next level under the stars at a Michelin restaurant. Denver, always welcome. Plan your trip at visitdenver.com/summer.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, how did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
Man, I'm just looking at the text rolling in. It's not awesome out there. It says, I lost the genetic lottery. I'm half Chinese, 5'3", and hung like a half-eaten Tic Tac. That's that's rough, man. Older gentlemen, my June pool is crap. The list of mental disorders include ADHD, dyslexia, anxiety, OCD, and a tad bit of depression. I should probably also get tested for autism, as my son was diagnosed a few years ago. As for the physical, I have short legs and a long torso, no ass, and a big-ass gap between my toes. Oh, and a wonderful speech impediment. Keep in mind, this is all one person. But my wife still said yes when I asked her to marry me. Pretty crazy, because she did not hit the lottery pool when it came to me. But look, man, here's the thing about basically the image I have on my head with the picture you painted is that you look really weird and ugly. But the bright side is your wife, that's what she's into. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's someone for everyone, so at least you lucked out there in spite of every freaking thing you just listed off. Good golly. And don't feel bad. I knew a woman in Baltimore that looked like Shrek to the point that her nickname was Shrek. And then she married a dude who also looked like Shrek. And then somehow they had a cute baby. Beautiful baby. It was unbelievable. Beautiful baby. But the kid was born on Halloween. Which we found hilarious. We're like, of course. But she showed us pictures of the kid, and I'm like, this is like, I don't know, a Getty image that they stick in your wallet. There's no way that dopey-looking dude you married and your ugly ass created that baby.
I think we saw that growing up. I think we saw a lot of people that were very attractive in school, And then, you know,
you saw the
Parents' Day or whatever coming in, you're like, how in the hell did they don't even.
And that's the first time you're asked if you were adopted.
Look like either one of those two. Like,
right.
Where did that come? Blonde hair, blue eyes. I mean, what is that thing over there that's her dad? Like, how did this happen?
I don't know. Double negative makes a positive.
Well, it's tough, too, as you're seeing the parents when they're older.
I know that, but still. But you think there'd be like just a glimpse or something like. I can kind of see it.
You can see people that they can be 80 years old and they're shriveled up like your thumb's been underwater for too long, but somewhere underneath it, you still go, I'm guessing that was a good-looking dude or a good-looking lady back in their day, you know, for sure. And then some people, I'm like, you were never good-looking. You know, there's no, maybe you were a cute baby, but that's by default. But do yourself a favor. Google ugly babies. Look at the images. There's some babies out there.
You'll find out. Your kids will be honest with you. I've heard, but separately from both daughters, when they were looking through old pictures. Dad, you were cute when you were younger.
Oh, yeah, kids are brutally honest.
Oh, yeah. Wow, thanks.
My kids laughed because I had hair. They could not wrap their head around the concept of me having hair. I'm like, well, this picture was taken when I was 12 years old, man. Yeah, they were like, oh, my God, look at that. I'm like, thanks. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Hello, Parker. Welcome to the men's room.
Beer and boo.
Hola.
Hey, guys. Long time no talk. How you doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Oh, we're doing all right. So my genetic lottery is that my family on both sides, dad and mom, they've all have full heads of hair. My grandpa, who just recently passed away on my dad's side, died at 85 with full head of hair. And, you know, hopefully no worries for me. I think I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I would think so.
Do you have good? Because Miles made the point to me earlier outside. We're smoking, and he said, look, you know, like Peyton Manning, he's getting up there in age, but still has a full head of hair.
But do you want Peyton Manning's hair?
Would you want that hair, you know?
So, like, I've never had someone say, I am so attracted to you because you have hair, or I really like your hair, or anything about that, you know, one way or another.
But what helps is you having hair might make you attractive to the person, because I think you look terrible bald.
Could be, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's just part of your package. But the flip side is I've had hot chicks walk up to me at the bar just wanting to touch your head. If you have a fresh shave on.
I mean, is Peyton Manning balding, or is his forehead just always been that big?
Like, I think it's both. Either way, his haircut is not a good one. So whatever his natural hair is, it doesn't look, it's not like, wow, look at that hair.
Well, put it this way. You put Tom Brady next to Peyton Manning and say two legendary NFL quarterbacks.
You take Brady's hair.
They duked it out. You take Brady's hair and jawline every day of the week. Like, Peyton Manning's not a good-looking dude. He's a funny guy, very charismatic, has a fantastic skill set, but
there was a poll
looks
up.
department.
There was a poll up the other day. Would you rather be 6'2" and bald, or would you rather be 5'7" and have hair? And overwhelmingly, everyone said I'd rather be 5'7" with hair.
Really?
And I'm thinking to myself, I'd rather be 6'2" and bald any day of the week.
Yeah, I'd take 6'2" every day of the week.
But I wonder how the poll shakes out, right? If you have a full head of hair, I think the idea of going bald is horrible because we've all been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Ted, when you started going bald, you weren't happy. When I started going bald, I was not happy. When you finally just bite the bullet and shave it off, now I'm like, I like being bald. Low maintenance.
No shampoo.
You know what I mean? It's right. It's
no dandruff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
No itchy scalp.
But it's just part of your look now. But when I had hair and realized that I was not going to continue having hair, it's a crappy moment.
Do you guys have itchy scalps?
No.
I do.
I don't, but my moisture.
I'll get it in my beard sometimes.
Right, because that's where your hair.
Exactly,
right. Yep.
exactly.
How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
You ever get beard dandruff, Ted?
Yeah.
It sucks.
Because I get dry skin. I gotta make sure to put some stuff in there at least once a week.
Yeah,
you get dehydrated
or
whatever. Yeah, it just looks awful. And it's one of those things people can notice, but nobody will, like, you. If you look in the mirror and you can see it, you're like, oh my God.
And you know that everyone else has seen it, but that is a tough subject. I feel like I could tell you that, but like the random stranger at the bar who you've been talking to for an hour and a half, and you're yucking it up, and then you go to take a leak, and you're like, dear God, it looks like someone smashed a bag of cocaine in my face. It's just beard dandruff.
A couple of comments. I don't get hangovers. Here's another. I'm mediocre about brushing my teeth, like once every 3 days.
Ew, man. Wow.
If I'm feeling down. Once a day if I can remember. I have never had a cavity. I think that might be a little luck, but also I'm one of the few people with an anxiety disorder and basically no fear of the dentist.
Yeah, but also, how about your breath? Even if you're not getting cavities, good on you. But just like I brush my teeth as the safety precaution against cavities second. My main motivation is to change my breath.
A woman says, I have Disney eyes and an ideal shaped nose. Pretty sure that's all I got, though.
Oh, wow. The rest of it's just a mess?
Maybe, but that's what we're saying. Would you want to be drop dead gorgeous? Everyone finds you attractive, but also, like I said, you have cystic fibrosis.
Oh, here's the one I would pick in a minute, but I hate him. I can eat whatever I want and do nothing and stay skinny.
Yeah, I did get that, Gene.
Yeah, that would be one. I would take that one in a minute. That would be top 2.
I would recommend
that would be because I love to eat, and man, I got to watch what I eat because I know for a fact it's not hard for me to put weight on. Throughout my life, it's not been, and I'm not doing a lot of cardio these days.
Right. But the flip side of it is
not like I'm putting on a sweat a couple times a week.
Yeah, I mean, I can pretty much eat anything I want, but the day is going to come when the doctor says you can't. But right now, when I go to the doctor,
that's going to be because high blood pressure or something else.
I have really good blood pressure, man.
Well, it's going to be something that has nothing to do with.
It won't be weight related.
Right,
it won't be
exactly. Which is definitely going to make you healthier that you're not carrying that extra weight.
But I feel like that's
sometimes too. It's just odd. Like I take a blood pressure pill. My brother takes a cholesterol pill. And then, I have some, my one cousin's in great shape and everything, but just genetically, he's got to take medicine for this or that. And then there's somebody else in our family who doesn't do anything. They're fine.
Yep.
You have no high blood pressure. You're not even close. No, it's perfect. No cholesterol. No.
I said you go down the entire list. How about that?
It's just frustrating. It's I was like, do you even work out? No. I'm like, all right, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay.
And you guys hate him, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Hello, Alan. Welcome to the men's room.
Yeah, how you doing? I have both been deprived and I've also done really well genetically. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a jock. I always wanted to be the big guy in the room. I started lifting weights when I was 12 or 13 years old. Spent hundreds of dollars on supplements. I always wanted to be the athlete. Never happened. I always wanted to be 240, 250. Never happened. The body, right now, I'm probably the biggest I've ever been at 215 pounds. And so none of that ever happened. Now that I'm an old white guy, the good news is I don't look my age, and so the positive side is that I date age inappropriate women now because they don't know how old I am.
All right, are you still going to the gym and working out?
Yeah, I go 3 to 5 days a week.
All right, so all that time and all that lifting, you're probably built real well.
I'm 215. I'm 6 foot tall. I bench press about 255, 260, squat about 300.
That's a lot of weight, dude.
I'm 67 years old.
Golly, man.
Good Lord.
And
Jesus.
My ex-girlfriend is, she's 38.
Okay, now let me ask you this.
All right.
So, but the goal that you were setting for yourself as a kid, and I get it, because every kid wants to have big muscles, be the big guy in the room. It never panned out, right?
Oh, never.
But looking back and knowing where you're at now, 67, and you're in good shape and don't look your age, because you did put in the effort, you just didn't get the results. Is it worth it? Looking back, because as a kid, you're obviously frustrated, but now you're 67 and you're dating 30 years, younger. I got to think that you go, you know what? In the end, there is a benefit to doing all this.
Well, but the upside is, or the downside was, I never got any action when I was 18, 19 years old.
Brother, I'm right there with you.
Because I was, for example, I played football. In my high school, I played offensive line. I was the smallest offensive lineman at 165 pounds.
Wow.
In the conference.
That makes sense.
I got my butt beat every day.
Okay.
Not
all
only
right. Let me ask you this.
But on Friday night.
You said you spent hundreds of dollars in supplements over the years. We used to take everything under the sun that we could find. There was
absolutely.
Deer antler thing for a while. The drops you put under your
deer
tongue.
antler spray is still pretty big.
Yeah, Ray Lewis is a big proponent.
Is there anything that you've ever done from a GNC standpoint or super supplement standpoint that actually you could see that it was working?
Well, the only thing I ever did was I bought into this program where I worked out 6 days a week. I cut all alcohol, all enriched sugars, all enriched flour products, and every workout was hour and 30 minutes, 6 days a week. Sunday was your day off, and I cut 2.5 inches off my thighs, and I got down to a 32-inch waist, but I was only 185 pounds.
That is the right BMI for your height.
Yeah, well, exactly. And but I never got the 16 or 17-inch arms or 18-inch arms I really wanted.
Of course.
I got the barely 16-inch biceps, which doesn't get you any attention on the beach.
Yeah, but you're ripped. I mean, you don't want to be like the Hulk Hogan guy with the pythons. I mean, you had to look fit, like in a men's health way, right?
Well, yeah, but the other sad thing is I do a P90X ab workout. I do not have the six-pack like my grandson does. I have a grandson, he's 18 years old, got a big old six-pack, and I'm like, I never got that. He has my genes, but I never got that.
I get it, man.
Look. Yeah, I mean, look, it works in opposite ways for everybody, right? Like, he was tall and thin. He wanted to put on size to be bigger. So, like, Miles, I hear what you're saying, but for him, he's like, I just couldn't get bigger arms.
I want to get bigger. Yeah. Well, it's funny. He's talking about football. My brother wanted to play football when he got to high school. Coaches looked at him and said, "Hey, Tiny, you're not going to play football. It's just not going to happen." So his revenge is he gets to boss him around now.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll even tell you, like, man, I wanted to play football in high school. They basically laughed me out of the gym, just looking at me. They didn't give him a tryout, like, laughed my ass out of there. It's like, yeah, now I'm an NFL ref. Suck it.
I have a buddy, he's just skinny, right? And he lifts whatever. He can't put on size, but he gets annoyed because people are like, people just are like, oh, God, you were so lucky. And he's like, I freaking hate it.
Right.
Yep. He's like, there's like certain things he can't do. Like, we were like at some retreat and he was like, I can't fast for 5 days. I'll drop weight to a dangerous level.
Right.
How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Sarah. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
First of all, Thrill, I am so glad you enjoyed the S. Kale towel.
Yes, I did. Did that come from you?
It did, yes.
Thank you very much for that.
Of course. Tried to find you again at Hops and Props. Awesomely found Ted instead, but I'm glad it made it to you. Do the rest of you guys want one?
Oh, yeah, I do. And I told Thrills. I told you guys I was already buzzed up. I was just going to keep it. But I would like one.
Yeah, he gave it to me, and like I said, I brought it home, showed my wife, and she just smiled and said, that fits you very, very well. I said, it really does.
I don't hate kale that much.
Full disclosure, Hops and Props is an awesome event, and Thrill talked about it for years. So my buddy goes, I got an extra ticket. So he didn't go, and then I ran into you guys. I come in that Monday. I'm like, amazing event. You should never miss it again.
But Ted kept saying, the only thing people ask me, like, are you Ted? Yeah, I'm Ted. Where's Thrill?
Yeah, there was a lot of that. He's usually here. And I'm like, well, we swapped out.
Yeah, we swapped out this past year. But
so
thank you for the towel.
Did you win or lose, do you think?
Both. But I will make sure to get you guys all towels, maybe some swear word ones too. It's my hair. First, I struggle with trichotillomania, which is a disorder where I actually pull out my hair. In high school, it got so bad I was giving myself a bald spot.
Did you always do this, like as far back as you can remember?
It changed sometime in elementary school. It used to be chewing on my hair and eating it, and then transferred into pulling.
What do they think? What do they think is the reason behind that? Right?
Like anxiety?
It was actually, I have a BA in applied psych, so when I took abnormal psych, I got to learn a lot about myself.
Okay.
Originally, it was classified as a tic disorder like Tourette's.
Okay.
And then was transferred over to a anxiety obsessive compulsive disorder. And now it's in its own category, body-focused repetitive behavior, so it goes along with face picking and nail biting as well.
Ah, okay. All right. Makes sense.
But once I got that under control, I started growing it out and donating it. I have currently my hair is about at my hips, and I'll be donating it this summer, and I'll probably be donating at least 14 inches.
Wow. Right. I'd like to say I donated 14 inches.
But that would take all of us in the studio. So how fast does your hair grow? If you take off 14 inches, that would go up to what, about the middle, your shoulder blades, maybe somewhere around there?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I chop it off to the my armpit, and then it curls up to the top of my shoulder.
Okay. And then would it take, another 12 months or longer to get back down to your waist?
It probably takes me about 2 years for it to grow that long and long enough to have a significant donation.
Okay. Now, if your hair grows that fast, does that qualify for the hair all over your bodies? Are you shaving the downstairs, shaving the legs, the armpits, all that, or is it just the hair on your head that grows that fast?
Honestly, it's just the hair on my head that grows that fast.
Okay. All right. And who do you donate to?
I donate my hair to Wigs for Kids.
Nice. That is awesome.
Good on you, man.
That is very awesome.
Yeah, I've been doing it since I was in my 20s. So I think I'm on donation at least number 7.
Okay. That is excellent, man. We both hate kale, and you do some good charity stuff, man. You're all right, Sarah.
How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow, today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Welcome to a trip you'll never forget in Denver, where summer sunshine sparks mountain adventure, where neighborhood strolls lift spirits sky high, and where music takes center stage at Red Rocks. Catch a baseball game at Coors Field, step into new dimensions at Meow Wolf, and take flavor to the next level under the stars at a Michelin restaurant. Denver, always welcome. Plan your trip at visitdenver.com/summer.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, a few people who said they won the genetic lottery.
Oh, they've won?
They won.
All right.
No one in their family has gone bald.
Cannot say the same. In fact, both sides of the family and both sides of their sides of the family, top to bottom baldness.
Another one says not allergic to mosquitoes, so while they do get bit, they're basically unaffected, don't get itchy, don't get a little bump or rash.
I can't explain this. Mosquitoes just do not bite me. We could sit in a mosquito-infested picnic area, and my wife will be devoured before my eyes, right? I will not have a single bite on me. It pisses her off, but I always tell her, hey, it's because they're racist.
Better than 20/20 vision, said one person.
I don't have that.
Another says they have a magic sleep button, so they lay down, fall asleep immediately, never have to count sheep, and also do not struggle to wake up.
My
Couple
wife,
more.
that's what's great. One thing with my wife, right? She will be fine. We will be having a conversation, and she'll say, all right, I'm going to go to sleep. That is how long it takes. She literally says, I'm going to go to sleep, and she's asleep. It's almost like a magic spell.
Another, I can read really fast, so I can process lines at a glance rather than going word by word.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
I read at a normal pace. My daughter reads exceptionally fast, but then when she reads something to me, it's like, babe, you've got to slow down. I can't follow your words.
Another one says their beard is magnificent. Woman said she does not get period pain and forgets it's even happening. Another woman says, I don't grow any hair on my legs, which is nice. Someone said they actually can lick their elbow. I mean, if you can do it, I can't.
Has a very practical use.
Another, I don't sunburn. They added they still take sun protection seriously because not burning doesn't mean you can't get skin cancer.
All right.
Another guy joked, big, luscious breasts. But again, he's a man. Our question, how did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
Couple of quick texts here. It says, Ted, we've spread some knowledge that made people feel better. It says, thank God, now I know I'm not the only one. I thought I was the only one with beard dandruff. Bro, if you got hair, you can get dandruff in the area, right? It's pretty much that simple.
Well, and also, too, like, before I had a beard, when I would shave, like, I would get dry skin down.
Dry skin, right.
Yeah.
But you don't think about it until you grow hair, then you're like, oh.
And you can see it.
Now it's not dry skin, it's dandruff. My genetic lottery is that I got the worst of both worlds. I got the prematurely balding one from one side of the family and the prematurely graying from the other side of the family. What really ticks me off is that my two older brothers, they have a full head of hair and are far less gray than me. And then someone here, they found a way to make a certain mishap work in their favor. It says, my unit curves up, like right up towards the Grafenberg spot. I'm of average size, 6 inches, but I've had no complaints because I've been told by many ladies that I actually hit the perfect spot.
Oh,
because of the
nice.
weird hook. There
Okay.
you go. And this is awful. I have a condition where my scalp follicles reject hair. So my head looks like Freddy Krueger. It gets infected, then scars over. Ugh. And I add, yay me.
How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the men's room.
Well, hello.
Hola.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I guess I'm thankful for my hair after what I'm about to tell you. But at 44 years old, I had 2 heart attacks, separated by about 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks, yes. The first one was pretty significant one. I lost about half of my heart function, and then I got sent home, and then I started a new job, and then the first day on the job, I'm like, I'm not really feeling too good. So I drove to the hospital, and they're like, yeah, you're having another heart attack. So they admitted me and did another treatment. So
is this something?
I have a full head of hair.
The full head of hair.
Oh,
now,
all right.
That's really what's important.
Does it run in the family?
Not that young. I mean, definitely heart conditions in our family, but I'd say the earliest one has probably been in the 70s.
Okay.
So, oh, wow.
Do you believe that you have gotten whatever was wrong taken care of? Like a stent or whatever you needed?
Yeah. So I have 4 stents in me now, and I'm now running marathons and 50K. So
why? Why?
I'm over. You think why?
Why?
Well, you had 2 heart attacks. You go, all right, heart, I'm putting you to work now.
Exactly. Why would you do that? Just run 10K, man.
The heart is a muscle. So
just run an hour.
I don't know.
Well, that's impressive. You can do that, man.
Yeah, I have no heart condition.
What is
I could not do that.
50K, is that technically a marathon, I guess?
Ultra marathon?
It's an ultra marathon, so it's anything over 26 is an ultra, and this is 50K is really like 31.2.
Now, is this something you always wanted to do, or were you inspired to do it after the second heart attack?
The latter, for sure. It was, I exercised a lot as a kid, but not so much into running. But as part of the cardiac rehab, they had me doing like walking and then a little bit of walk run, and then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should try doing like a 5K at some point, doing a walk run. And then it just turned into, hey, maybe I'll try to run the whole thing, and then maybe I'll try a 10K. And then when I was turning 50, I'm like,
Oh,
man.
Okay, he's back. So I'm sorry, your phone cut out for a second. When you turned
said
50.
after 10K, you're 50.
Yeah, after my 10K, when I was turning 50, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a 50K. So for my 50th birthday. So I did that, and I wanted to get under 5 hours, and I was able to do that. So
that's impressive.
It was a big,
so what is that
moment for me? But
you ever tell your brain to shut up? We don't have to keep upping this, man.
What is that? 8:15s, 8:30s?
It was 8:01.
Damn, that's moving, dude. So here's the problem. You have a bad ticker, but the fact that you exercise so much basically means that you're a human garbage can. You can eat whatever you want. And stay skinny. So you could have 5 donuts, and it does not matter, because if you're running that far, even on your training runs, if you're running 10K here and there, whatever you're doing, I mean, that's kind of a double-edged sword there, because you're not going to get fat if you're running that much.
I like your nutrition services. These are good. I like that. I could go on a diet of donuts, I think.
You probably could, man.
Was it a heart condition originally, or was it like cholesterol? Like, how'd you have the heart attacks originally?
So it was cholesterol. So that was the thing. They actually think it was because of low testosterone, and I took testosterone treatment, and that spiked the cholesterol. And at that time, they didn't have any warnings that the testosterone caused heart conditions. So I didn't really receive any guidance on it. So, but I was on statins at the time. But just for whatever reason, certainly that played a part of it. But there must be some other genetics. I was also going through a ton of stress at work.
Well, that does not help. No. Yeah. And what are the symptoms of a heart attack? Is it chest pain? Does anything else happen? What?
Yeah, so for me, I was out dirt biking in a forest when it happened. So, you're already kind of sweating and tired or whatever. But I just told the group, I'm like, hey, I've got to take a break for a minute because I wasn't feeling well, and I had to lay down. And then I started really sweating. And then it felt like they say, like an elephant stomping on your back. I didn't feel it so much in the chest. It was more like in the back on the left side behind the heart. And then when I started throwing up, that's when one of the guys says, I think you're having and he didn't even say it, but I knew what it was. But yeah, it's like, so really a combination of all those things. For men, they tend to be more in your face in terms of the symptoms. For women, like my mom passed away just a couple of years ago from a sore arm, right? She thought she had a sore arm and didn't end up going to the doctor, unfortunately. And then, turned out it was a heart attack, and it just hit later in the day.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Get your heart checked out.
I cannot believe you can run a 50K. That's impressive.
Whatever your condition.
That is amazing. Yeah. How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
The other side of that is I can't believe you want to.
That was what I meant.
Even if I knew that, if the doctor said, look, man, I can't explain it, but somehow we just know you could run a 50K, I'd be like, cool. I still wouldn't do it.
Your mind takes over when you know where the finish line is. On any of these, I've run a couple of half marathons,
but it's 31 miles from the start.
Man, at that point, it's almost like you couldn't take. Your mind tells you, I can't take another step.
Right.
As soon as you cross the line, you're like, I'm done. It could be the same thing for a 10K. Just like, I finished, I'm done. But man, I could not see doing what Castle does, which is crossing that finish line, turning around, and running the exact same distance back to the start.
Yeah, there's no way.
I mean, I think some people it just becomes a competitive thing. You just
absolutely
get, right. Like for him, he's like, all right, well, I did a 10K. I'm 50.
I mean, get it. I understand that part, but I would just do that in my head. The farthest I did was a 5K. I did it with Castle 12 years ago, whenever he started running, and when I got to the finish line, I did not know that bananas are supposed to help you with whatever
chocolate milk
at the end of the run, right? So I get over the finish line, and I'm just in a horrible mood because I'm like, I hated the entire run, right? And I get to the finish line, there's this old guy, looks like a Walmart greeter, big smile on his face, and he's holding this banana. And if he offers it to me, and I feel bad looking back, but I was like, get that effing banana out of my face. I just wanted to go somewhere and smoke a goddamn cigarette and never run again.
Mm-hmm. How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Mike. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
All right, I'm a genetic loser.
Okay.
My brother's a year older than me. He's 6'2". My son, 6'2". My dad, 6'1". I'm 5'6".
Oh, damn.
Do you look like your dad?
Yeah, I get that a lot. And actually, I look a lot like my son, too, and everybody says my son and I sound exactly the same. He calls your show a lot. People always think that that's me when he's on the radio. But, yeah, and then the capper is they all three have full head of hair, and I'm bald.
Now, how do you think that...
Wow.
Man, who in your family lineage do you most resemble then, right? Because obviously, they're all kind of working with the same stuff there. But when you look at old family photographs, you're like, that's the son of a bitch that gave me my genes.
Well, looks-wise, my dad's side, I look like my grandfather and my dad. But my mother's side, her father, I've got his hairline, which is the receding widow's peak and real thin hair. So I just started shaving my head, not shaving, but buzz cutting it when I was in my 40s.
But at least you got the widow's peak, man. Like my
that's
brother,
kinda cool.
My brother, so we both lost our hair, but my brother had the quote-unquote receding hairline, so you become a, quote, distinguished gentleman, right? You can kind of get a general vibe, but it doesn't look bad. Me, I got the Stephen A. Smith where it started like in the back. It looked like a volcano. And that's no way to go.
Yeah, well, back in the day when I was younger and I had hair, back in the day we used to do the split down the middle and feather, And when I got my 40s, I thought, I still got the same hairstyle I had when I was in high school. So I changed it and I went down the side, parted it on the side and kind of combed it back. And then my friend said to me one day, and he was bald, he goes, "Hey, dude, when are you going to give it up?" And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Really? You're doing a comb over now?" I'm like, "I'm not doing a comb over. I just changed my hairstyle."
Are you the reason that your son listens to the show?
I don't know if I'm the reason. I mean, maybe I turned him on to it. I've been listening to you guys forever, and yeah, he calls up a lot. He's talked to you guys a lot. Tower crane operator, and you guys always talking about pooping in a bag or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know exactly who he is then. All right.
Bucket guy.
Yeah, bucket dude. Hey, tell you, man, he's given us a lot of insight into the crane operator world.
That's right.
And how it is to poop in a bucket.
Well, he did get that from me. I was a crane operator before him, so.
Really?
Yeah.
And he found what you did interesting enough or exciting enough to want to pursue that?
I took him up in a tower crane when he was like in grade school to try to scare him so he would never want to get into construction. And I tried to steer him away from construction, and he ended up being a crane operator.
You tried to scare him, and he's like, this is awesome.
I'm by myself.
I can poop in a bucket.
Scratch where I want, pick my nose. No one's looking at me.
No one can tell.
Yep. How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
I feel like crane operators are a different breed, too.
You've got to be.
Like, I know a lot of construction dudes, but, like, I only know a few crane operators.
Because one thing about a crane operator, you're solo. Like most guys that I work in construction, look, they're building 2 houses behind my house right now, and these fellas start at 7 a.m. sharp. But you hear their conversation, they're laughing about stuff, they're listening to music, and no matter what it is they're working on, they're still communicating and having conversation. Sometimes it's about work, specifically how we got to line something up. Otherwise, they're talking about the family, there's kids playing ball, and I'm like, right, that's normal stuff. You have coworkers, and then there's just the crane operator. There's nobody up there, man. That is a weird thing, but they always have the best view, I would think. I could not do that.
No.
Look, I know a couple of them. They're kind of like adrenaline junkies, though, too.
I would think you'd have to be.
Yeah.
To want to go up that high.
No fear of heights.
Yep. Hello, Ed. Welcome to the men's room.
How you doing?
Hola.
Hola, Pichola.
So, Ed, are you a winner or a loser?
Sort of both. What happened was I've been having pains for about a month. Actually, about a month, and it was I wasn't sure if it was gas or acid reflux. So I just sort of fought my way through it. And the day I had it, we were out putting up a swimming pool, and I kept on, feeling like all the symptoms of a heart attack. Anybody else would have, I'd have seen anybody else like this, I'd have said, "Hey, you're having a heart attack." But I go inside, cool off, drink a margarita, go out, do the same thing, and I pretty much did that till the pool was set up. And that night, I wasn't feeling well. We went to bed, and I woke up several times, and we owned a defibrillator for about 20 years. I'd replaced the battery about 4 times, I believe. Well, ironically, we put our vehicle, which we kept it in the vehicle thinking we might use it to save someone else's life, is why we bought it. And we had it in the back of the vehicle because I went in to get some repairs. So we took it out and put it in the house. And that night, I woke up, it was about 8:30, and I said, I'm not feeling well. And she says, well, you want me to call 911? I said, no, just get me some nitro, which I actually had for an unrelated heart condition, totally unrelated, about 20 years prior. And my dad had 4 heart attacks. My brother's got 4 stents and so on. So it's a history of it. Well, she goes, I start feeling lightheaded. She gives me the nitro. I go, maybe you should call 911. Well, I pass out. And at that point, Jackie, do you think you want to jump in, Jackie, and tell him part of that?
Well, his eyes just clouded over, and it was like he was looking right through me. So I called 911, and the dispatch said, you don't happen to have a defibrillator, do you? And I said, yeah. She goes, oh, my God, go get it. So I ran out in the back room, and I locked open the door in the garage, because that's where I knew the medics would be coming in. And I had to hook him up, and I'm retired law enforcement, so we did a lot of training on it, on the defibrillator. So I hooked them all up, and the words you don't want to hear is, shock advice, stand clear. So I shocked him, started CPR, and managed to save him. I know, long story short, but I broke 11 of his ribs doing it.
Nice.
Hey, good work.
That was being bitter. In all of your years in law enforcement and all the training with the defibrillator, did you ever use it in the line of duty, or was this the first time you used it?
Nope. First time I ever used it.
Is that the first time you've ever done CPR?
First time CPR?
For real life, yeah.
Okay, well, at least you knew the mouth. I think that goes a long way. Like, I don't feel uncomfortable doing that. Like, with your partner, it's like, okay, like, if it was used to you, you'd be like, oh, man, I got to give him mouth to mouth. Jesus.
Now it's just compressions. You just sit there and you just keep pressing and pressing and push. And, our trainer, where I do it to the beat of staying alive.
Yeah.
So anytime I did it, I started pushing, do a CPR, just go, staying alive. You just keep doing it.
Technically, I think you could also do it to Another One Bites the Dust.
You can.
It just doesn't fit the theme of what you're trying to accomplish.
You're probably screaming, stay alive anyway.
Right. We've done that as a sit and spin on Tuesday before, the top 10 songs that kind of keep the beat as far as for chest compressions.
Well, good on you, man.
That's
it's amazing because as a 911 operator, I know you have to ask certain questions, but there is no chance that they legitimately thought you're going to say, yeah, I have a defibrillator. Right? Who the hell has one other than them?
But you don't want to tell someone this, but like your partner, whoever you're with, like you're the one I want to have to give CPR to. So I'm not saying I want something bad to happen to you, but if anyone does, I would prefer it would be you.
Because I know your mouth.
I know your mouth very well, so this would not be awkward for me. I'd jump right in. But anybody else would be like,
Because you don't want to sound like this, but look, man, there's some cats on 3rd Avenue, right? And they drop to the ground, and someone says, does anyone know how to do this? I'd be like, no. Even if I did, they got 3 teeth all brown, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, that sounds like public service. That's a good thing. You don't have to do it anymore.
Well, the good news
I'm with you, right? If it's some random person, you might be like, whatever. But, yeah, you don't even have to do them. So it's like, all right.
That'll save your life now.
I will say, though, this is going to sound dark, but it's watching somebody die, like you wouldn't have any thought except we got to do something.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Of course. It's awful.
And at least you don't have to give them a mouth hug.
Yeah.
I got to do what?
It's the only thing that will save them.
You're kidding me.
Come on, man.
Come on.
What condition do they have that this is the only way?
Hey, you're going to die.
Yeah, bad news.
How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
9.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Return of Who Sucks Less coming up right after emails on our question, how did you win the genetic lottery? Or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK. If you could snap your fingers and change the color of your eyes, would you do it? A recent poll said a fourth of Americans would. Another 7% said maybe. So basically, a third of us would at least consider changing our eye color.
I mean, I would try to get them back to the milky white they were in childhood before I discovered nicotine, drugs, and stress.
What do you guys think is the most popular eye color?
I would assume blue.
Blue? Nope, dark brown. 40% of people in America have dark brown eyes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking what people want.
Okay.
Obviously, blue eyes are very rare, super rare.
I think green's rarer than blue, though.
It is.
Okay, yeah.
23% of the population have blue eyes. Hazel comes in at 15%. That's what I have. Green.
What's the difference between brown and hazel?
Light. The brown is darker.
So it's
so what are mine? Mine are brown, right?
Yours are more hazel.
No, you are brown and blue, kind of gray.
Yeah, it's kind of gray. Seriously, from back here looking at you,
amber
they
or
look
light
more
brown, gray 4%. So you got a little gray and you got a little brown in your eyes, I think. So what eye color do we wish we had? Blue, you're right, Ted. That was the top answer. Followed closely by green eyes. Then it's gray, hazel, amber, and only 7% said brown.
Because everybody's got brown.
I told
Whatever you've got, people always want to switch it out, right?
My buddy Rick has two different color eyes.
What colors are they?
One is like gray-blue, and the other is brown. So he looks like one of those dogs.
Yeah, like a husky or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just saw somebody's kid had that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's very noticeable.
The state of Washington says my eyes are brown.
According to your
I've always said they're brown.
But does anyone's driver's license actually say hazel?
I've
only seen yours does actually say hazel.
Pretty sure.
Hold on, let me look at your eyes.
Let me see.
Yeah, okay.
I love the restrictions on there. That's the only thing I can't do.
Oh, okay, that works. You can't save a man's life.
Hazel.
You can't save a man's life. I'd love to help you, buddy, but
yeah,
it's just two letters they put together.
Okay, here's another. Research has now shown that acne takes a toll on emotional health, leading to low self-esteem and depression.
Shocking.
It's the difference between acne and pimples. I'm lucky enough I had pimples, which is a form of acne, but there were some kids growing up, man, like they had severe acne.
Well, new research is focusing on how society views people with acne as opposed to how they view themselves, highlighting further difficulties both in social and professional life. For instance, researchers found people are keen to avoid people with pimples and feel less comfortable hiring them compared to people without acne.
Really?
Researchers collected stock images of 4 men and women, then created 2 duplicate images of each person showing them with mild and severe acne. They then showed 1 random photo to each of these study participants while asking questions about the person's social desirability. You can obviously see where this is going.
Sure.
Our findings show that stigmatism in the attitude about acne can impair quality of life and affect the person who is either wrongly perceived or just study highlights that need to have a narrative to change for identifying approaches to reducing that stigmatic behavior in the community.
I mean, I know it's bad, but when I was getting out of my homeless phase, you swing for the fences. I got to get a job somewhere, so I applied for a job as a cook, and the guy interviewing before me, so it's in the restaurant. The restaurant itself is closed, but the guy who's interviewing in front of me, He's got a chef's coat on, chef's pants, like he left his other job to come in an interview. And I'm like, dude, you got no shot. Because one thing on a job application, they ask for, where do you live? And I don't have an answer for that. So I'm like, I'm screwed. But whatever, I'll go through the interview. So I sit down with the general manager and get through a couple of questions. And he goes, look, man, just long and short, where have you worked? I explained where I worked. What did you do? I explained what I did. He goes, you're hired. I'm like, just like that? And he goes, I'm going to level with you. That guy I just interviewed, and I didn't really see this guy's face. I saw him from the back. It's like he was blotching, weird looking, and basically he was too ugly for me to hire. And he goes, and I don't want to be that way, but we have an open kitchen. And he goes, guests get uncomfortable when they see an extremely ugly person. He's telling me this about the guy I just interviewed, working in the kitchen. So he's like, just shave and you got the job. So I got my job basically based on that thing that you're reading there. Yeah. Now, the good news is if you do have acne, there's another study out. Apparently, they're working on a vaccine for acne.
Wow. Acne's tough, too. I mean, look, it's super hard for adults, but I feel like it also really sucks. A lot of times, people I knew that had it growing, like, they were teenagers.
That's
just such a rough age to begin with. Then you have acne on top of it.
That's what I mean. So, in your teen years, high school and all that, there's nothing that is off limits for people to get on your case about.
Yeah.
You can be perfect in every way. They're going to find something. They'll bust on you about it. And most of us were getting pimples at the same time. So you didn't bust people too much on pimples. But if you ended up with acne, those are the kids that just got fed to the wolves, man. And I'm like, dude, that sucks. And then
it was strange, too, because typically the people with the worst acne, where I grew up, there was a ton of redheads. And redheads seemed, for whatever reason, to get it more so than other people.
Because it's a skin condition. Correct. I feel like that goes with the redhead world.
How did you win the genetic lottery, or how did you lose the genetic lottery? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Brian. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, how are you?
Hola.
Yeah, so basically I'm the tallest person in my family. Cousins, all of it. 6'2", the next closest one is 5'9".
Really?
Yeah. And then also, to touch on that, I also have blue eyes.
What about the rest of the family?
Brown. I am not the mailman's son.
I was going to say, but you've obviously
but that UPS driver.
You've obviously had the thought, or you've obviously been questioned about that.
I have. No, I look exactly like a mix between my mother and my father.
But you just got all this height.
All right.
So what about even extended family? You're just the tallest.
The tallest.
All right. What would you say you took from your mom's side?
My mom's side is personality. Okay. And then my dad's side, the alcoholism.
Oh, okay. Congratulations. That's awesome.
The spirit of honesty.
The alcoholism.
Alcoholism. I know that from my father, the thing I got from my father is our appetite and what the foods that we do and do not like. Both of us absolutely cannot stand vegetables. He's a little better at it now. He's gotten older. Your taste buds wear down. Mm-hmm. But there is, and I can't remember the protein or chemical or whatever the hell it is that's in vegetables. He can taste it. I can taste it. And like I say, we taste the truth of it. Meanwhile, my mother and my brother, they're human garbage cans. They will eat anything. Everything tastes
Basically,
good.
what it means is your taste buds and what you can taste is on a higher scale than what most people can.
But specific taste. So not necessarily sweet, but definitely the bitter, right? So we are much more, but it doesn't mean we don't like bitter things, but we don't like vegetables.
Here's the study. Disliking Brussels sprouts could mean you have a genetic variation indicating you are a super taster.
Yeah, ladies.
You may be forgiven for disliking the sprouts and vegetables, as 2/3 of the population have taste buds that make them more sensitive to bitter tastes. There is a bitter chemical in Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and other green vegetables called PTC, which is more easily detected by super taster gene variants. Research has found several variations of the gene could have an effect on other bitter food and drink, maybe dark chocolate, coffee, sometimes even beer. But Brussels sprouts have a very high level of this sulfur compound, and they are responsible for bitter flavor. Super tasters can taste that more so than regular people.
That makes sense. My brother came home with something for high school, and it's just a piece of paper towel, and they sprayed it with whether the enzyme or whatever the hell it is, but we all put it on our tongue, and my father and I spit it out. It tasted like garbage. My mother was just like, just tastes like a paper towel. My brother and my mother couldn't taste it. Nothing. But it made me feel better, and some people say, man, you really don't like vegetables. Like I said, because I taste them for what they actually are. It's like the movie Them with Roddy Piper. You know, you put on sunglasses and you see that some people are actually aliens. That's the way my mouth works.
What age did you figure that out?
I was probably 12. Yeah, I'd have been around 11 or 12 years old because he was in high school. He was 5 years older. But he came
did your
home
parents be like, you don't have to eat vegetables now?
I will say that, my father was never big on pushing me to do it because he didn't want to do it either.
Okay.
But my mother, like most mothers, they want you to eat everything on the plate, but there was a little bit more understanding. It's not me being picky and just being, a kid, for Christ's sake. It was, okay, you legitimately.
That's why I'm asking. It's because I don't know. It's rare to meet a kid that actively likes vegetables.
Sure.
But, you got to eat them.
You still got to eat them. But I wonder if you get a hold of that chemical and spray it on something and see if your kid can taste it, you might be a little more lenient toward them going, I don't know what to tell you. I don't like this. But it only applies to vegetables, right?
A woman says, no woman on either side of the family has big boobs, even though some are plus size. Yet I have these amazing D cups, which have not shrunk even after I lost 35 pounds.
Wow.
Here's another. I can withstand temperatures of minus 30 degrees Celsius in nothing but jeans, a shirt, and a hoodie.
That's the way my son is. It is staggering to us where, and Seattle never gets that cold, but still 40, 45 degrees, and he's outside shooting hoops wearing a pair of shorts and a pair of Crocs. And that is it. And you're like, dude, are you cold? He's like, that, honest to God, I'm just not cold. Meanwhile, my daughter, she'll put on a down jacket at 75 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm. Here's one that's back to the New Balance. I have 7 toes on each foot. 7 toes.
Damn.
What would are you a better swimmer? I mean, if you're webbed, that would tend to help. But if you have more of a flipper-shaped foot, so to speak, like if you were to go scuba diving or snorkeling and you put on some flippers, it's kind of what your toes are doing at the end.
I would think it'd benefit you like skateboarding as far as maintaining your balance, right? Because you're covering a wider area than any normal human being that has 5 toes. Mm-hmm. The standard 5 toes.
Yeah.
You hear about 6, but 7.
Yeah, 7. That's swinging for the fences.
Now we have the story on a different note of a dog named Rope Daddy.
Rope Daddy?
Rope Daddy.
Rope Daddy the
Rope
dog.
Daddy is an exceptional specimen of big rope, one of the most sought-after varieties of French Bulldog.
Oh, it's actually a name of...
Yes.
Okay.
Rope Daddy, whose genetic traits allegedly make him worth around $120,000 cash.
Why? What is it about this dog that justifies that cost?
According to a study by the American Kennel Club, the global number of French Bulldogs has increased by over 1,000% in the last decade, helping the canine breed
seems about right
dethrone the Golden Retriever as the most popular dog in the world. But even among other big rope specimens, one pooch stands out as exceptional thanks to its excellent genetic material. His name is Rope Daddy, and he is probably the world's most expensive French Bulldog.
Really?
His Colombian breeder claims the pooch embodies all of the best traits of his breed, adding that his current value, $120,000. They do say caring for such a majestic specimen and catering to its every need isn't cheap. He says he spends around $350 a month on Rope Daddy's diet, which includes raw meat, carrots, and Greek yogurt, as well as vitamins and other supplements.
That's the most valuable French Bulldog?
Called Rope Daddy, yes.
Because of its... Well, think about it, man. It's a successful racehorse. What does it do?
So is it just because he breeds? It's not the way he looks.
Well, he's worth $120,000, but I'm sure breeding has a lot to do.
Breeding has a lot to do.
It's got to be. Look at him. That is not the cutest French Bulldog I've ever seen in the world.
No, but I mean, right, you stud horses. And do sperm banks do that? Okay, so...
They attempt to.
But I mean, you go to the sperm bank and you go there as a client. And I mean, do they know, you know what I mean? Like you go in as a client, you're like, look, we want to have a baby. I don't know. I'm shooting blanks. We're here at the sperm bank. Do they give you a rough description of that particular donor? I know the donors are anonymous, but if it's like...
No, I'm pretty sure that
to say, hey,
in some
just so you know,
instances, Harvard graduate, doctor.
6'4", 5'9".
Yes, correct.
But seriously, I mean...
No history of heart issues or all these different things.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because, like, you know, when I had sex with my wife and she got pregnant, she already knows what I look like. We kind of understood each other's family history, so we're not terribly surprised about the baby that she delivered because they look like us. But with the sperm donor, okay, is this, so you say the guy's 6'5". Okay, well, is this like a 6'5" blonde dude from Austria, or is this a 6'5" black dude from Somalia?
So, for example,
they tell you that.
They do tell you that.
Yeah. You'll know the race, the height. I think Miles right. I think they boil it down to like education.
Wow,
like this and that.
Even more important than that is when you go to your doctor and they ask all the things that could probably have happened in your family's lineage that could potentially affect you. So if I'm the recipient of the donor, and I have a history of heart issues within my family. Now, she does not want to get a sperm donor who also has heart issues in his family because now you got a double whammy. Now you've very much increased the possibility of this happening.
But wouldn't that be on her?
It would be
so if you got it from the sperm donor, if you have a history of heart condition, but she's getting the sperm from someone else, it doesn't matter. But you find out, okay, this other person has the same proclivity you do.
That would be not good.
Then it'd be more on her. I'm thinking that because you're going to mix with this sperm. Like, all right, lady, listen, whatever
who
goes
knows
wrong,
what's going to
either
happen?
it's your family or the sperm donor's family, but it's not me.
But you don't want both of them to have the capability of doing that. So you try to mix and match as far as, all right, I'll take your diabetes and you give me cholesterol. Or as long as it's not diabetes, and then you really do have a much more increased chance of the offspring, being diabetic. Type 1, even.
That's got to be a weird conversation to have. You know what I mean? Like, you go to the sperm bank, the doctor explains, all right, these are the samples you've shown interest in. And it's kind of like, when we were buying a house, my wife and I kicked around 3 or 4 different houses that we liked. And they each had their faults. They each had their good points, location, blah, 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 school district, all this stuff. So now you're sitting around the dinner table, you're having the same discussion, but it's about what your kid might look like. Okay, well, look, I really liked the green-eyed version, but I didn't like the fact that they had red hair, but I really, really want green eyes. Babe, I want the bald guy, you know what I mean? I'm bald, that way my kid will grow up to be bald just like me. I want to go that way, But what if we have a girl? Like, damn, back to the drawing board. That's just a strange conversation. It's a lot easier than to say, I didn't like that paint color. You go, cool.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to be like this. Wouldn't want to get the sperm of a dude that's 6'5". Oh, the kid's just giant.
Well, but it depends on the height of your wife, right? So if your wife is 5'9", considered tall for a lady, he might end up being a giant. You marry a chick who's 5'2", you get the sperm donor who had a 6'5" kid, or he's 6'5". Maybe it meets in the middle.
But it's like the color.
I will say, sometimes, too, it's just odd between siblings. Because I have some cousins, right? And, like, my aunt and uncle are both pretty short, right? But her father is taller.
All right.
So my one cousin is taller than basically every other Smith cousin. But it's got to be just like it skipped a generation or something on her side. Because none of the Smiths are tall.
Well, it's weird. My dad is 5'10". My mother's 5'4". I am 6'4". My brother is 5'9".
Hey, your brother got the raw end.
What, sort of. I think at this point, he hated it as a kid because there's a point where I was his height and I was wearing bigger shoes and I'm 5 years younger, but we both still live under the same roof. I think that was a tough pill for him to swallow. But fast forward, in his junior year of high school, he did not get any taller, but every day he got, and this is no exaggeration, probably 15 different pieces of mail from colleges recruiting him. This went on for a year and a half, and he finally settled on the school he went to. All right, so he got some brain power. Now, I'm rolling up to my junior year, not one. Not a single one.
Okay.
So there's some benefit to him being him.
I went to most of my grade school, middle school, and high school with a girl named Carrie. She was redhead that had very curly hair.
Okay.
Now, she was also the person that was very freckled. Now, not necessarily her arms, but you could see that she had her cheeks and her face were freckled.
Yeah.
And she had some freckling on her upper chest you could see through her shirt, right? For the most part, when she wore like a lower cut shirt.
Sure.
That's what she looked like. She was, I don't know if she was ridiculed, made fun of it, but as the years went on,
it started getting a lot more attractive.
She basically turned into like a Benetton supermodel. She got taller, like all of this, what she was made fun of by kids, it now was the most beautiful part of her, incredible piercing blue eyes and freckle and long flowing, curly red hair. And I mean, she was just a smoke show as far as how beautiful she was. But growing up, she hated the fact that she had freckles.
Well, of course, because everyone points it out. It's the object of ridicule. It sucks. Have you ever seen someone who has like freckles all over the body?
Well, I've seen people have moles, more moles.
No, I've seen moles, but like with freckles, like I've seen them on faces, like you said, the cheeks, maybe a few on the forehead or something. You see it, like you said, the breast line. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen, because I've seen like I have a couple of a freckly person at the beach, and she had freckles on her shoulders, her face, and down to her boobs. But from her boobs to her waist,
no, they kind of disappeared.
And I'm like,
no one has freckly legs.
Yeah, not a ton, but I mean, like I have freckles on my feet, and I used to have on my legs. Over the years, they kind of faded out, or I got hairier.
Right, one of the two things. But it's just I just never see them on someone's stomach.
I mean, it's also one of those things too when you talk about freckles, whatever. You know, like I have a buddy, like he's in great shape, he's a good-looking dude, but he is self-conscious about his jaw because it kind of clicks when he eats.
Okay, yeah, okay, jaw popper, right?
Huh?
Right?
Can you hear it?
You can. So, like, people don't think he's already self-conscious about it, and then if he's at a table and somebody just inevitably be like, "What is that sound?"
Right? Oh, so you can't necessarily tell that it's his jaw; it's just this repetitive sound.
It. Yeah.
Oh God.
But that's what I'm saying. I think most people, you know what I mean? Because it's like, right? If you're fat, you want to be skinnier, right?
Sure.
There's plenty of skinny people that want to put on weight. So I feel like I don't care who you are. Somebody's got something on their body they are not happy with and are very insecure about.
Right. And I think you get insecure when nobody wants that. Right? So like you said, I'm too skinny, I want to put on weight. All right. I'm too fat, I want to get skinnier. Okay. Nobody wants a clicking jaw. Right?
No,
you have this one thing where nobody wants to trade in chewing quietly to have a clicking jaw.
As far as food is concerned, I think the worst thing I am fortunate about, if I can eat whatever I want, I will gain weight.
Yeah.
But I can eat whatever I want. I don't have
no allergies.
I don't have a glucose problem or whatever gluten problem or any allergies to any different kind of foods. So I can eat just about. I don't have a shellfish allergy. Some people have that.
Yep.
But I will get fat. But I can at least.
But you got to think the people that can't eat peanuts like Miles, they get fat and enjoy food.
I don't have to ask the waiter what's in this. I don't have to go through that process of saying I can't have this, I can't have that, I'm not allowed to eat this, and then having those dietary restrictions.
Yeah, especially if you're like super lactose intolerant.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, I know some people like they can't even have a piece of cheese or they'll start acid their brains out.
Wow. Or get migraines, whatever the deal is. Coming up, the return of Who Sucks Less, and we got your emails up next from the men's room at KISW.com.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at AmericanStandardAir.com/electrification.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework. What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who sucks less on the way, but first time for a few emails from The Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got
Top right to birthdays. Hello, gentlemen. Both my lovely wife, Chrissy, and grandson, Eli, have birthdays today. So could you give Eli a little kid fish sandwich, Mike, and a nice, juicy fart?
Fish salad.
Also a little of Mickey and Goofy, if you can.
Well, gosh, I hope to see you at the happiest place on earth. That's right. You're of a certain age, so I wouldn't stick with Disney World. But I will say there's a little place that me and the old mixture go when we want to cut loose and try to put this delicately, but let's just say when people see him, they're glad he only has 3 fingers.
Also, he convinced Chrissy that Disney is not controlled by the Illuminati. Oh, thank you from Greg in Kansas.
Oh, no, it is controlled by the Illuminati, sorry.
Are you suggesting the mouse isn't involved? High up there. You name it. I've been there.
Hello from Texas. Today is my 25th birthday. I would love some shotgun gets from Thrill and some advice from Coach Ted on what to do this weekend to celebrate. Thanks, guys. That from Daniel. Get. All right, get.
I emailed Daniel back a few times. He's a little 2 hours away, so he's not going to Austin. I was going to tell him where to go in Austin.
All right.
He's not doing that. But my first suggestion, we have some nice cold Lodestars. Drank about a bucket of them a day when I was in Texas. Number 2, I do know where you live. You're not that far outside of Dallas. So I'd say start practicing now because you're going to be disappointed come this year. And then also, if you go out and run up a bar tab of $150, you will have spent more this offseason than the Cowboys.
Damn, man.
Seriously, have fun. I don't know. It's Texas. Wear sunscreen and don't get bit by a spider, scorpion, or a snake.
Yes. Gentlemen, I'd like to give a birthday shout out to my friend Justin. He is turning a quarter of a century old today. How about a bong rip and some dirty Germans talking about disc golf? Rock on, fellas. That from Landon.
Yeah, I know so many people are into this disc golf. I'm sure it's fun to play, but me personally, I prefer traditional golf. because I like handling pale, dimpled balls.
Yeah, see, it's the thing about the disc golf. It's good. It strengthens the wrists, the hands, and the goal is to get it next to the pole.
Yeah.
I still haven't played that.
No, me neither. I've been on golf courses that have a 9-hole disc golf that can also be played.
I've done it
Which I thought
once.
was awesome.
I thought it was great. I have not done it again.
I know.
Bitches, I'm 33 today. In honor of the double threes, I would love to hear the captain talking about his favorite threesome. I know he's probably got a lot to pick from. I love you guys. That from Victoria in Tacoma.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. Unfortunately, thanks to an NDA that I had signed after a certain experience, I can't go into too many details, but I can recommend that should you get into a threesome with the mascot, you want to use Snap in the Kool-Aid Man. First of all, they agreed that there's no safe words, and you can fit a lot of sexy in the Kool-Aid Man's picture. And frankly, Snap fits the places I like. One last thing I will say, though. I don't know why they say the Kool-Aid Man picture, because he's kind of more of a catcher if you catch the Capitan's meaning.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. Crunch berries.
All of you dinosaurs want to wish my older sister, Savannah, a very happy 38th birthday. Currently in the process of moving into her new place and could use a little motivation. So how about some advice from Coach Ted on how to finish unpacking and the captain as far as exploring new environments? And maybe some green beans, because that's probably all she's going to be eating until she can find what box the food is packed in. LARP on, bitches. That from Alex.
Green bean.
What?
Green bean.
Okay.
Green bean. Green bean.
All right, moving into a new place, which generally is a good thing. It's new to you. Who knows what's going on? You're going to be fired up. Now, you got a bunch of boxes, this and that. Good news, you have a weekend. You'll have at least a day or two to get something done, and then get in there. Mike and I just went through this a year ago. Just focus. Just get them unpacked. That's the key. Because you have those couple boxes like, I'll get to them. Before you know it, they're still in boxes.
Put something that you want to find in each and every one of those boxes. Something that you use on the daily, dude.
But also, I want to give a birthday shout out to my father-in-law, Gino.
Captain.
Oh, Captain, my bad. Sorry.
Ooh, well, ahoy there to everyone except Miles. Apparently wants to steal time away from me, but they wanted to know my opinion on exploring new environments. Well, I'll tell you, my favorite new environment to explore turned out to be Betty Crocker's virgin backside. It was a new environment for me on a road trip through Mozambique while drug mailing 30 kilos of Nicaraguan drip to a one-eyed drug lord named Sasha the Bonesaw. Well, let's just say that us mascots sampled the product, so to speak, and got a little randy. That's when Betty bent over. It said to me, plug the pumpkin. Well, I rode a route until we reached Sasha the Bonesaw's compound. Found out that Sasha the Bonesaw wasn't even a drug lord. It was the Quaker Oats guy. Good times.
Jesus. Quaker Oats guy.
Yeah, he's into more stuff than you know, Ted. Don't let the innocent look and the daily clothes fool you. Crunch berries.
And all of it all, I want to give a birthday shout out to my father-in-law, Gino, a.k.a. Papa. On his 65th trip around the sun, how about a big old bong rip? Your penis is too small. And the dirty German's talking about what Grams is going to do to him tonight. LOL. Thank you, fellas, and rock on. That from Zach.
Yeah, I think we all know what Grams is going to do tonight. Pull out the dentures and give him a soft one.
Yeah, she also might be broken up and puts in some milks and find out it makes them golden.
I put the dentures in a different place to see how he thinks about that.
Gummy.
And one more birthday. Happy hump day, fellas. I want to give my dad the biggest 59th birthday shout out to the grill master and fishing legend, Greg. Thanks for all the laughs and delicious barbecue. May your lines always be tight and your grill always hot. We love you. And thank you guys at KISW for being a part of our family every day. I know Smokey G would love a fish sandwich and the dirty Germans on smoked barbecue. Cheers to another trip around the sun. That from the House of Russell Rockers.
A filet of fish sandwich.
Yeah, I'm glad that you like to work with your barbecue, but personally, I prefer any kind of smoked meat.
Yeah, it's the best thing about some meat that's smoked properly is you don't have to add sauce, because I don't like my meat with sauce on it. It gets sticky afterwards.
All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans, brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefly.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks last?
Hey, time for Who Sucks Last. Team of Thrill Hill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck, but it's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yeah, and this week, not so bad. I thought I'd go to the celebrity well. And actually, this is inspired by very own D. Ted Smith yesterday on TV Time. But Ted, you brought up everyone's favorite, Noah Schnapp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Noah Schnapp.
Got a lot of loose at the bar.
Yes, he did. Kid from Stranger Things. He will be competing with another one of your favorites, Ted, Justin Timberlake. Ooh. He's been in the news lately.
Sense of a theme.
Yeah. And finally, we'll go with, it's from a few months back, but Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, and if you detected the theme, it's what we call booze. And in this case, let's start with Noah Schnapp. He got booted from a New York City nightclub early Saturday morning, or as we would call it, late Friday night. But according to eyewitnesses, the 19-year-old Stranger Things star was living it up at the hot spot called The Palace. But he started bugging the people around him who paid for bottle service, all right? They're like, look, man, we are here. We have paid for bottle service. That's the high-dollar stuff. And here's this kid starts bugging them because he's demanding that they do tequila shots with him and his entourage. Now, normally, people like myself, I'd be in for that, but these people, to the credit, said, look, man, we're not going to do this. You're underage. You're 19 years old.
Yeah.
We don't want to be a part of that. That's all. We don't want a photograph taken with that because that's not a good look. We know who you are, but you're underage. Well, underage or not, he became real angry about that. Got angry at his fellow clubgoers and that refused to participate with him. He became what they call aggressively wasted. I think we can imagine what that is, as we've all been there ourselves. But it got to the point that security had to escort him out at around 1:30 in the morning. The source shared that after getting kicked out of the Palace, Noah retreated to the curb and was clearly unable to stand, but was then seen leaving the area finally about 30 minutes later under his own power. So again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but look, man.
Okay.
You're underage. They know you're underage. They don't want to participate in that, and he became a douchebag. And that's the best way to explain it. Now let's go to the lovely Hamptons and our favorite Justin Timberlake. Well, an eyewitness at the Hamptons Hotel, they confirmed that Justin Timberlake, he did in fact overindulge in alcohol prior to being arrested for DWI. Now, he's since been charged on 1 count of DWI and a count cited for not observing a stop sign and swerving between lanes. But Timberlake's arrest for DWI has been making the rounds, and eyewitnesses revealed that the singer was heavily drunk before exiting the party. Now, according to him, when the cops asked if he'd been drinking, he said he had 1 martini. And the eyewitnesses are like,
I normally have 1 drink.
Well, they said he did have 1 martini, followed by many, many others. We just don't know which one specifically he was talking about, but yes. The source also claimed that the, quote, selfish crooner, this is the part where he gets entered in the Who Sucks Left. He went overboard at some point by drinking the drink of another person who stepped away to the bathroom. It's like, come on, man. So the anonymous individual said, quote,
that was over the line, correct?
To me, he
yeah,
said,
don't drink other people's drinks.
He was wasted. At one point, just before closing, somebody got up to go to the bathroom and left his drink on the table. When the man came back, Timberlake was drinking his drink, and the guy said, Justin, that's my drink. Justin did not care. So Timberlake was partying with his friends at the location. He left around 12:30 in the morning. However, several minutes after his departure, he was pulled over by traffic cops who saw him run past the stop sign and swerve between the lanes. So the cops noticed he had glassy, bloodshot eyes and reeked of alcohol at the time of the traffic stop. Very potent martini. He also failed the field sobriety test done to test his balance, coordination, and ability to follow instructions. Now consider what this man does for a living and how he performs. I don't know of anyone who would have better balance, coordination, or ability to follow directions. Yeah, he could not pull any of it off. He was then asked to take a breathalyzer test to confirm alcohol levels. He refused the request. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, and was subsequently handcuffed and taken away. And now you might remember this one from a few months ago. Jimmy Fallon. Well, he's the latest celebrity TV host to be accused of fostering a toxic workplace environment. Now, we heard the same thing with Ellen, James Corden. His is slightly different, though. So in a report from Rolling Stone, 2 current and 14 former staff members accused Fallon of appearing drunk, as well as having mood swings referred to as good Jimmy days and bad Jimmy days while on the set of The Tonight Show. In one alleged incident, Fallon was drunk on the set and, according to witnesses, appeared confused while crossing out jokes on a piece of paper. Quote, he couldn't remember. He just crossed it out himself. I was like, oh, my God, he's drunk. He does not know what he's doing. This could be awful. This could be into the show right here, because this is leading up to the taping. Now, former employees, they said, Tonight Show, they described working on the set as tense and a pretty glum atmosphere. Staffers also alleged that if Fallon and other bosses belittled and intimidated them, he would never come to their defense. He allegedly had outbursts and inconsistent behavior while working, which reportedly frightened former employees. They said nobody told Jimmy no. Everybody walked on eggshells, especially showrunners. You never knew which Jimmy we were going to get and when he was going to throw a hissy fit. Look at how many showrunners went so quickly. We knew they weren't going to last long. And anyway, but most of the informants they believe his erratic behavior was a direct result of him being drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. It's all alcohol
So he's drunk at
today.
work, not just hungover.
Not hungover. They're saying like he is drunk at work, but that's what led to his mood swings. So they're like, look, man, you are who you are, but if you're going to show up drunk, don't be a douche. So again, we have Noah Schnapp up in New York, pissing off everybody getting bottle service in the VIP because they don't want to drink with an underage kid, or at least they don't want to get caught drinking with an underage kid. We have our boy Justin Timberlake. He got hammered, got behind the wheel, already a bad move, but man, stole someone's freaking drink. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the one martini.
Yep.
And finally, Jimmy Fallon being at work drunk, but causing a very bad workplace.
Noah Schnapp. I'll say this about him. He is, I would assume that a lot of his entourage, so to speak, probably close to a similar age.
Probably.
I don't know how many friends he has that are actually 21 if he's 19. Maybe he's got a couple in there, but I would assume that most of his friends are probably underage as well.
But at that age, you might have a couple 21, 22-year-old friends. One thing about his particular story that I noted, though, when he became aggressively drunk and they escorted him out, none of his entourage went out there with him.
Okay. I will say this. 19 years old is about the time you figure out that you should not be drinking Everclear, 151, cheap tequila, all those things, and you make very bad decisions without alcohol at that age because you don't know what you're getting into, right?
You don't, but he's not drinking cheap stuff.
Okay, either way, he's drinking tequila, and we know that tequila can have that effect on people.
Some people get kidnapped.
Now, we had a situation, we had a story in Seattle where a delivery service delivered a bottle to an underage customer. All right. Now, the liquor store where they picked it up is the one that got fined, even though I believe it's the driver's job to check ID. Because you can't obviously do it.
Yeah, the liquor store
online.
can't check your ID, right?
Because they're just picking it up the closest location that has it.
We've done that before, and they do ask for ID.
Yes, they do. The liquor store, they are now being held responsible for that. In my mind, the bar is somewhat responsible for letting this guy and his underage friends in there. Now, the behavior negates all of, look, if someone comes up to you on the street and asks for a cigarette, you do size them up as far as like, look, there are times when you're too young, man. I'm not giving you a cigarette. So you understand where these people are coming from. In the bar, like, I'm not drinking with you. You guys look like kids.
I mean, I still think he sucks the least, though.
I do too.
Timberlake's behind the wheel of a car.
Come on, man.
Fallon's creating a bad
work environment. And it's said specifically because he kept showing up hammered. Like when he wasn't hammered, he's kind of the Jimmy Fallon that you saw on TV. He's just a goofball.
And Noah Schnapp's defense, whether he's 19 or not, I've been in Vegas at a nightclub and was BSing with these dudes, and they wanted to buy me drinks, and I don't know. I was just like, nah, I'm good. Like, we could buy our own drinks. They were beyond pissed. And kind of like we're trying to mess with us now. I was like, we gotta go. They were just insulted that we wouldn't take their free shots. So like I've seen this before with people. So like to me, he's 19 and being an idiot, but he easily sucks the least.
Is he also? I know a lot of those kids are. Is he British?
Schnapp? You know what? I really don't know.
I think a couple are. So in their home country, they might be able to get a beer.
That's a good point because the chick that plays 11. She's 21 or 22, but you're right. She's from England, so I think you can go to the bar like with your parents.
He's
at
American.
16.
Don't sweat it. He's
U.S.
Snap.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound very British.
Yeah.
Snap.
He was 40 in New York.
But either way, we're going to say that he sucks the least. Debate continues on Who Sucks Less if you follow KISW on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With the $5 meal deal at McDonald's, you pick a McDouble or a McChicken, then get a small fry, a small drink, and a 4-piece McNuggets. That's a lot of McDonald's for not a lot of money.
Price and participation may vary. For a limited time only.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, couple of minutes. We'll drink and toast for the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check in with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. A new study looked at the healthiest fruits that you should be eating this summer, and the top of the list, any guesses, the healthiest fruit that you need to be eating for this summer?
Are we looking for nutrients or just not a lot of calories and stuff?
It just says the healthiest. That's
watermelon.
Watermelon, that's what I thought it would be.
Cantaloupe. Watermelon's like all water. Like everyone likes it, but I would guess avocado.
Cherries.
They're
saying eat the cherries.
All right, well, you poop.
Does anyone like cherries?
I love cherries.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
I feel like cherries are one that almost everybody. You don't like cherries?
Look, man, you know how I operate. I don't want to eat an orange. I want to drink orange juice. I like cherry-infused anything, but I don't want to eat the cherries. Apple-infused anything, I don't want to eat. Jesus Christ, I'm a child.
That's just, I know, but
here's a nugget.
I do know that, but
here's a boneless wing.
Cherries, to me, like that, I wouldn't be shocked if that was one of those ones you're like, actually, I like that.
They're okay. I don't love my kids love them. My kids will eat, I almost cuss. They will eat a lot of them.
Sure. But that's what blows my mind. Like, I understand you not liking vegetables. That makes sense. Vegetables are not exactly the tastiest of things they can be made to be. You can enjoy them, but I can see why you don't like them. The fruit is what knocks me off.
I will tell you what, man. Like, I will eat mango. I will eat the F out of some pineapple.
Hell yeah.
Watermelon. Everybody eats watermelon. And it just kind of stops there, man. I'll eat a banana.
Okay, so you do like some fruits.
Some fruits, yeah.
All right. Time to get it says time to get serious about microplastics, fellas. Bad news. Microplastics have been detected in the male genital region.
Yeah, they're
number one sperm killer.
That's exactly right.
Microplastics?
Yeah. Microplastics.
How are they getting around my groin, Mike?
Food.
Yeah. It is in the air we breathe. It is in the food that we eat, the water that we drink, or really anything that we're drinking. It is getting into our blood system, and due to that, it is flowing right on down there, and it is getting into the twig and berries.
Does it make you not work, or just make the sperm count go down?
It makes the sperm count go down, so rest assured.
That's another documentary.
Right? Inevitably, that's what we really care about.
You'll eventually watch back to the so much sugar and salt is put in your food.
Yeah.
How plastics destroyed the world.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be next,
And it's one of those where it's a small impact, but built up, it can create a bigger one. So, yeah, that's the new new craze right now, at least in our household, is microplastics and trying to eliminate all those.
Like the oils and everything else?
Exactly. So anything that comes in a plastic container will contain some amount of microplastic.
All right.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Yeah, and it's
but I mean, look,
gumming up your systems.
It's not like we're demanding it. It's just that is how products are given to us.
Correct.
Right? Everything used to be in glass. Now everything's in plastic.
Is that just because glass became too expensive to manufacture?
I don't know.
And I mean,
I would
when they put it in
assume
plastic originally, it was like, don't worry, we're going to recycle all this. But obviously, that was not true.
Yeah, that's not. It can be recycled. We're just not necessarily doing it. But you can also recycle glass.
The backside.
So I think it does come down just to cost. Because think about it. Even in the construction world, when you're talking about like skyscrapers and stuff, glass is the thing. Like there's a glass shortage based on the demand for all the buildings being built, which sounds ridiculous because it's made out of sand. It is a certain type of sand, but right now they can't keep up with the demand, like because China's blowing up, the Emirates are blowing up, Seattle, as far as the U.S. goes, blowing up all the time.
Like you never get fruit juice out of anything other than a jar, like a large can. Yeah. You could buy in glass.
Sure.
But like pineapple juice, you use the back end of a can opener.
Yeah.
You put 2 holes in the top, juicy juice.
And away you go, yeah.
All that stuff. Now it's all in plastic.
Juicy juice. That's not even juice.
I mean, when you say juice in a can, right, I was like, well, juicy juice used to come in that giant can.
Pineapple juice, cranberry juice, all came in a can. Like
it was all bottles by the time I was a kid, but juicy juice, which again, Thrill's right. I don't know how much juice is even in
right.
But that was the thing.
8%,
and you had to like do it on both sides so it would flow.
I do remember, to cut the little triangle. I remember Juicy Juice a couple of years ago, and I don't know what the percentage is overall, but I remember on the label, their big thing that they wanted to get you to buy, it said now with 10% more real fruit juice. Like, it's called Juicy Juice.
Right. And you added 10% more.
No, they said fruit juice, so it's juice.
Yeah.
You just don't know the juice of what.
Correct.
Right? I've been juicy
We put
in the
apple
bedroom.
juice in there to sweeten it up for that grape juice.
Right.
Oh, wow. Looks like they've really upped their game now.
Who's that, Juicy Juice?
Yeah.
30% real juice.
Oh, wow. Not just water.
I mean, I think it is real juice. I'm sure
It is real juice. There's just not a lot of it in
now
there.
It says 100% juice.
Hey, all right, Juicy Juice.
Now, I haven't had it, but as a kid, if there was options, Juicy Juice was the one. It was just loaded with sugar.
Yeah.
That's why it tastes so good.
Going back to the cans, I think the only thing that I've really ever seen as far as juice in a can is now pineapple juice.
Yeah, that's the one. Just a little teeny tiny cans.
Or you can get the really, really big one.
Or the big one.
Also, pineapple juice, when you have it, you're like, wow, this is really good. I gotta have more of this.
So, by the way, if you are hungover, it is.
Oh, sure.
We were, I won't say where, but
lights.
Miles and I, we may have been doing a KISW related event, and I was struggling badly. But I asked him, man, can I get pineapple juice? And he goes, we don't really sell it. We have it in little cans. I'm like, I will give you $20.
Right, give me the little can.
I think he gave me 2 or 3, and I brought one to an event that we were working to help me get through the day.
All right.
I'll leave it at
that. Oh, good times. A new study found that the ultra-processed foods could have a negative impact on the immune system, igniting inflammation.
Really? Ultra-processed food?
Right.
Did you read?
Where's my fainting couch?
Did you read the best way to tell if you have processed foods?
Ultra-processed or processed?
Both.
Okay.
Okay. If you read a list of ingredients and there are 5 or less words you cannot pronounce, it has been ultra processed. That's all you need to know.
That's something.
That's all you got to know.
So if it doesn't say sugar, salt, all these things, okay, they're somewhat processed. Obviously, sugar is processed. Of
course.
But once you get into the realm of nitrosodium, nitrate,
right,
then you know.
Now we're putting chemical in there.
This cracker is more than a cracker.
Exactly.
I say that about you all the time, Miles.
Yeah, I just did that for Juneteenth.
I'm about to say Happy Juneteenth, everybody. This cracker's more than a cracker.
It's more than just a cracker. This cracker's going to kill you.
All right, Ted, what do you got in that? What do you got in that tea over there?
All right, I'm drinking an unsweetened pure leaf tea.
No sugar.
No sugar. Brewed black tea, citric acid.
All right,
I'm drinking
caffeine. You can pronounce that.
Yeah.
I'm
so
drinking.
That's fine.
But also, most people hate this tea because it is unsweetened. It is just tea.
I hate that stuff. Now I'm drinking a Snapple peach tea. They brag that it is naturally flavored. It says our real tea starts with the fine tea leaves and is made from filtered water, sugar, citric acid, tea, natural flavors. What does natural flavor? My toenails are natural. If I grind them up and put them in, can I say, well, it's a natural flavor?
Because I was going to come at you the same thing. I'm drinking a Kroger seltzer water that's lemon flavored, and its ingredients are carbonated water and natural flavors.
Since it's a holiday, I just poured a Men's Room IPA. And it says 32 grams of protein, 0 fat, 0 calories, 0 sugar, absolutely calorie free.
On that clear cup?
Yes. From the I'm making all that
up. Well, processed foods is something that tempts us in our everyday life and one of those things that we just kind of have to deny ourselves. And there's an entire list of things that we should never do in real life, no matter how tempted we are.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 things you should never do in life, no matter how tempted you are. How about don't approach wild animals because you think they're cute and would like a pet. You are an annoyance and an appetizer. Or maybe you should stop putting your junk where it doesn't belong. A shop vac tube. Or that barfly that reeks of gas station perfume. A soft pack of Pall Malls. Plastic tubs of whiskey. And at least 3 STDs.
Yeah.
At least.
Things that you should never do in life, no matter how tempted you are. At the bottom of the list, they say, never date your boss.
I don't think I've ever dated a boss. Well, I plugged one once, but we never dated.
What if you want to move up the chain?
Yeah, right. I don't think I've had a boss, per se, that I've been attracted
I mean, look, I'll be
to.
honest, man. Me and Castle slept together twice, but we're not dating.
I slept with him once in Chicago.
Oh, yeah?
He woke up swinging at me.
Yes, he did.
I was like, dude, you're the one who set the alarm.
This one just doesn't make any sense. Never hide things from your doctor.
Yes.
If there's anybody to tell all that embarrassing stuff, I get it is embarrassing.
Right.
They need to know.
Right.
And they are also held by law to not tell other people, other than the medical profession, that are actively working on you.
Right, but people
what
don't want to
you've got.
hear. They don't want to hear what the doctor's going to say, so they lie.
Yeah, you know what?
But if they're going to give you medication or something, that's when it's like, dude, you're potentially setting yourself up for a catastrophic failure.
Right.
And they've heard it all, man. Whatever you're into, they've heard it. It's not, sure, they're going to tell the nurses.
Right.
But otherwise, like, they know. They've heard it.
I fell on it. No, you didn't, man.
No, you put the light bulb in your own rectum.
Right.
So, you know,
They've seen this before.
For these purposes, they're going to play along with you. Oh, man, be careful when you sit down.
Well, when you fell on it, was your hand grabbing onto it? Never compare yourself to other people. These are things that you should never do in life, no matter how tempted you are.
It depends. If it's like a penis contest and I'm the biggest, I will. if I'm not, I won't.
Now,
it is 100% true in theory, but it is very hard to do.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the whole thing, that you are tempted to do these things, and I think comparing yourself to other people can motivate you. Sure. Only let it motivate you. Do not.
I agree. Right.
That's strong.
Honestly, before I got into radio, I didn't have a whole lot of direction. That was actually a conversation that I had with my grand aunt. That I didn't. I was measuring myself based on what other people were doing. They were either going off to college, they were getting married, and having families, they were working in their jobs and getting launched, and I didn't know what I was doing. She says, "You're living your life. Don't live by anybody else's."
I'm glad she said that because I think part of that comes from parents. Not all parents, but a lot of times. Like, other kids your age are, and fill in the blank, right? We've all heard it. It is what it is. And I get the parents try to do it as motivation. Generally speaking, with my kids, they'll bring up someone else, but so-and-so's doing it. I'm like, F them. Don't worry about them. You do your goddamn thing.
Right.
Kiss your ass, man. You figure it out.
Right.
But also clean your room.
Brush your teeth.
Right. Just brush your damn teeth, please. Your friend's breath ain't that bad.
Yeah.
Never leave people waiting. Basically, just show up on time.
Well, yeah.
That's just common courtesy, man.
If you can.
Right. Never go without a backup plan.
I like the spontaneity. If something bad happens, or for whatever reason, you can't get in this hotel, wherever you are, I think you'll find your best adventures when you just don't have that plan in front of you. When you go someplace and say, look, don't book any adventures.
Right.
Why don't you wait till we get there? Don't make a dinner reservation.
Right.
Let's ask the locals. Let's find out what's going on. If you have a spot you know is A1, take it. But if not, just, you know what I mean? Plan B is not the worst.
Right, but that would be the backup plan. So your go-to plan,
okay,
your go-to plan is to go there and then get the lay of the land, ask the locals, and do that. But having a backup plan of like, well, I looked on Google Maps and this place, looked on Yelp and this food looked kind of good.
I think too for careers, right? It's. I mean, look, you see it all the time in college athletics, right?
Have a backup plan.
Oh yeah,
right. It's hard to explain to somebody that was all state in football. Now is at a big university. It's like, right, but everybody there was all state. Like, you get that education as well.
100%.
It's fun. I just read something from Lorne Michaels today talking about Saturday Night Live in September is going into their 50th season. And he was very frank about how it all works out. And he goes, a lot of these guys have a hard time adjusting because you've always been the funniest kid in class. He goes, and they get here, and everyone here is the funniest kid in class. You might not be the funniest. And he goes, some of them they go through a lot before they can finally be comfortable.
Sure.
Being part of the cast. You're not the star anymore.
Exactly. And
You're part of an ensemble.
That hurts.
Right. And their stuff gets cut all the time.
Oh, God, yeah.
Man.
I remember when John Mulaney, when he hosted the first times, he used to be a writer. Some of those, he was just like, yeah, we're doing these skits because I'm the host. And Lauren never let me do them when we were writers.
Things you should never do in life, no matter how tempted you are. Never remain around a negative person.
If you can avoid it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cut the toxic people out of your life.
Right.
If you can, right?
Now, people have negative moments in their life. People have downtimes, and people do need friends to kind of lean on to pull them up and out of that. If you are with a toxic person, a person that is just an anchor, cut it.
Yeah, toxic is different than going through a bad time.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, look, you spend a couple days with people. You could tell then, right? Like, all right, you were off on Friday night. I was like, well, now it's Saturday afternoon. You still seem a little off.
Right.
Like, maybe you are just angry. Not that I recently went through this.
I just want to make that clear. This did not happen recently.
Well, somebody on Saturday afternoon was like, sorry, this guy got too hammered. Like, a few of us did. Right. And Saturday night, I was like, oh, no, that's just him drunk. That's just not a happy, I don't know what's going on. But he was so big, there was nothing we could do.
You live through the weekend and then you just leave.
Yeah, it was a little scary there yeah.
Oh, God.
Somebody lightly mentioned, hey, you look like you already had a few too many. Did you just say? I was like, oh, God damn.
Oh, nothing, man, nothing.
Yeah.
Never ignore what makes you happy.
No, hell no.
Right.
Do more of that.
You live for what makes you happy. We
That's why you work.
Yeah.
You work to live. You don't live to work.
Correct. Live for the in-between times that you're working.
That is it. That is it.
And then the number one thing that you should never do in life, no matter how tempted you are, rather simple, never ghost someone. Experts estimate that around 30% of the U.S. adults experience ghosting in the dating world. Happens when you made a connection with somebody, but they disappear without saying goodbye or explaining why. Man up. Tell people that you're leaving.
Again, I've said this. I'll go blue in the face, though. It depends on the amount of time.
How's that now?
It's been 2 weeks. I can ghost you. I don't feel bad.
Right.
6 months. Yes, I should probably say something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes, I don't know. Like, I've been through that position, too, where it's like, it's weird. You don't really know. Like, there's no nice way to say,
I don't want to be with you.
By the fourth or fifth date, you did this, you did that. Like, you don't want to hear that breakdown. So but some people refuse to just take the, all right, we're not hanging out.
Correct.
Blah, blah, blah. There's not really nice ways to be like, I don't, what do you want me to tell you?
Correct.
I really don't want to tell you the truth. Come on, man.
We're all fans of Impractical Jokers in here. We're all fans of Impractical Jokers, and you guys know that the phrase that they say is the hardest phrase to say to somebody. I don't like you.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know about this list because it's one of my number one rules, which is never say never. I was like, that's a weird list.
Yeah. A fast food employee in Florida has taken back control. Miles, and I'll give you all the details at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. Have we made it to drinking time?
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews, or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to a trip you'll never forget in Denver, where summer sunshine sparks mountain adventure, where neighborhood strolls lift spirits sky high, and where music takes center stage at Red Rocks. Catch a baseball game at Coors Field, step into new dimensions at Meow Wolf, and take flavor to the next level under the stars at a Michelin restaurant. Denver, always welcome. Plan your trip at visitdenver.com/summer.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Yep, just got my ecobee smart home when nosy Ned next door came over with questions about it. ecobee? What's that? You should get the system I've got, he said. I told him ecobee is really smart and listed off a few great ecobee features. He went from smug to envious real quick. Turns out ecobee is a lot smarter than his better-known smart home. So I consoled him and said, Ned, get yourself a smarter home. Ned's over a lot now. Visit ecobee.com today.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
The time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we chose 17-year-old French swimmer Raphael Fente de Mers. He recently finished second in a 100-meter freestyle at the French Olympic swimming trials. But second place, good enough to qualify for the Olympic Games. And it was a cool moment for Raphael because not only did he qualify for the Olympics, but the Olympics are in his home country. And he celebrated the way that all swimmers do. You scream, you yell, yeah, and then you slap your hands down in the water, right? Like Michael Phelps almost made that famous, but it's pretty much what they do. Unfortunately, Raphael then immediately appeared to be in pain, but you couldn't quite tell. But, he may have been in pain because he had to be helped out of the water. Well, it turns out he dislocated his left shoulder in the celebration 38 days before the start of the Olympics. So he qualified, but the jury is still out on whether or not he'll actually be able to
Did you see the
compete.
video of this?
I saw it. And
Okay,
it didn't look like
did you
much
see?
to me.
Did you? No, you didn't see what happened to his shoulder.
No, I saw his shoulder at the end
Come out.
But I'm saying the way he slapped the water didn't look like anything. You know, he just slapped the water.
Right. No, he punched the water.
And then
he punched the water. His shoulder totally came out. And I'm watching this because my shoulder dislocates. I'm like, I could pop that in for you right now. You know, like
he's going to need it.
But he was like, oh. And the guy beside him was like, dude, you okay? In French.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
I mean, can you compete in swimming after you dislocate it?
It depends on the event.
Not. Probably not. They're not quite sure, and I don't think
You
they want to dash his dreams just yet. But keep in mind, man, you're 38 days.
Think about
away.
how you propel. Backstroke wise,
Right.
Butterfly wise, breaststroke wise, freestyle wise.
Put it this way,
all those things.
Swimming without your arms is a really, really difficult thing to do, and the animals that do swim without arms we call fish. So I think he may have screwed himself, and I felt bad for the guy. You're 17.
I just watched that. Like, that doesn't look like anything that would dislocate a shoulder for a swim.
For a swimmer.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way they're built, man. My God, they're built weird. Anyway, I hope he makes it. Look, whether you actually get to the Olympic Games or not, young man, good work on you. At least you know you're strong enough to qualify. Just celebrate less. Don't do the Gus Frerotte.
And we're like, what are you going to tell him? Don't celebrate again.
Don't be happy. Do not be happy. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Let's see the throw home. Could you please, everyone? Our Profile This is played.
I sure as hell can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Matt. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
All right, Matt, you understand how this here game is played?
I sure do.
It sounded like you were repeating my exact words anyway, so I had a feeling you might know. All right, Matt, today you have your choice of one of three categories. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did somebody find in their food? Interior decorating.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I messed that up. Interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And finally, today we offer you Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
Animalize.
All right, we go to Ohio's Cedar Point Amusement Park, where people there witness chaos unfold when a pair of animals escaped from the park's petting zoo. Parkgoers captured video when the animals, who were named Samson and Artie, escaped from the Barnyard Petting Zoo at the Sandusky attraction and ran through the crowd of visitors. Justin Garcia, who captured video of the incident, said, quote, "They were just coming straight at you. Next thing we were worried was just getting out of the way. We picked up my little sister, put her over the railing, and then me and my dad followed suit." Now, Garcia said the animals seemed, quote, really freaked out and didn't know what they were doing or where they were going. Silly animals. He said some visitors took shelter with other petting zoo animals. Quote, "There were people diving out of the way, climbing into the pen with the other animals just to get away from them." Now, Cedar Point spokesman Tony Clark, he confirmed the incident, saying, "Last night, the two animals decided to take an unplanned stroll just outside of their home at the Barnyard, our petting zoo area, but were quickly returned. We're looking at how they made it, how they got out of their pen in the first place." Now, the question is, what kind of animals are Samson and Artie that got out of their enclosure and decided to take a stroll? Are Samson and Artie goats? Are they pigs? Are they yaks? Or are they camels? So goats, pigs, yaks, or camels. Who are Samson and Artie?
The whole time you were saying this, I was thinking goat all the way. So I'm going to go with my gut and go with the goat.
Your goat gut? Goats. Little goat gut.
What do y'all think?
I mean, what's it, Samson and Artie?
Samson and Artie, those are their names.
Like, Samson makes me think camel, right? As you know that from, like, the Bible. and like the Middle East and stuff.
All right.
Camels.
All right, makes sense. Took me a second there.
But just because people were running and they were scared, I'm going to go yak. Because I think
yak. You're going to yak it?
Because that seems like a scarier animal with horns, so people might not have known and just been like, maybe it's going to charge me like a bull.
Okay.
Or I just feel like goats are, I've dealt with a goat that's annoying, but even when they rear up, you can kind of get ahead of them and grab their horns and be like, no.
Okay.
Well, you could. I just wouldn't.
You can.
Ted, I'm going to do the Humpty Hump.
Camel. Go camel.
All right, what were the animals that escaped this Ohio amusement park? Goats, pigs, yaks, or camels? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories Animalize this on Profile. This we go to an Ohio amusement park. They had two animals escape from the petting zoo, and they ran through the park. People had to scramble to get out of their way.
Oh, yeah.
The animals did ride a roller coaster. Question is, were they goats, pigs, yaks, or camels?
And Matt, that is a question that we posed to you. Let us start with D. Ted Smith.
Oh, no.
D. Ted Smith, you want the old yakety yak, don't come back? It's not yaks.
I'm also laughing at domestic yak.
Domestic yak?
Yeah, it sounds like cognac made in the U.S.
Oh, I was going to say, to me, it sounds like cocaine that was made right here, but that's just me.
All right.
Matt.
All right. Jeez.
What's another nickname for coke, man, is yak.
Domestic.
Yeah, domestic yak. Matt, you went with the old goat. It was not a goat, but I'll tell you why you immediately thought goat. I did a little research. Goat is the single most prevalent and most popular animal at a petting zoo. You bring them a petting zoo, people think goats. So it makes sense that you bring them go there. Miles, you went with the Humpty Hump.
I went with the smooth, delicious Turkish blend of camel.
Yeah, they were scared of the camels.
Two camels. Well, wouldn't that be the one you're scared of?
It would be a giant animal.
A goat, you're like, whatever, man. Pigs, whatever. A yak, maybe a little questionable, but a camel, you recognize its sheer size, and they're not known for being nice. So I think when you see two camels explode out of there, you go, yeah, let's move out of the way.
Good times. Now for all TV news all the time, time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today. You got Seth Meyers.
What?
Stephen Colbert. The Jimmies.
Kimmel and Fallon.
Writers? Or Ted Smith?
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there. The title. These guys have teams of talented writers help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Some music news. Country star George Strait broke a one-concert attendance record that previously had been held by the Grateful Dead until last weekend. The two crowds love live music, but after that, that's about all they have in common.
Writers. Ted Smith.
Yeah, that was me.
Damn it.
I'm sure there's a little crossover. I just feel like those are two different shows.
Yeah.
And I've been to George Strait. I'm going to the Dead here in a couple weeks.
Let us know. I saw the same people, man. That'd be crazy. Like, it was the exact same people. Like, everyone there is the exact same people.
I don't know, man. I think you should give me that raise. Around 150 million Americans are expected to experience temperatures over 90 degrees this week, thanks to something called the heat dome. I always thought the heat dome was that weird thing that my grandma always sat under at the hair salon. It'll be so hot this week in Maine that the lobsters are just getting into the pots to cool down.
Let's guess Seth.
I'll say Colbert.
Kibble.
Around 150 million Americans are expected to experience temperatures above 90 degrees this week, thanks to what they call a heat dome. I always thought the heat dome was that weird helmet thing my grandma sat under at the hair salon. It'll be so hot in Maine this week, the lobsters will be getting in pots just to cool down. It is...
McDonald's said last week that it's removing artificial intelligence technology from more than 100 drive-thrus. Apparently, it started telling people they should go somewhere else and get a salad.
Valid. Seth.
Good call, Miles.
McDonald's said last week that it's removing artificial intelligence technology from more than 100 drive-thrus. Apparently, it had started telling people they should go somewhere else and get a salad.
Well, Fallon had the joke yesterday on the portion of the program.
Damn it.
It's got to be somebody else.
Yeah. Google's Pixel 2 watch can now detect when you've been in a car crash, which is important to know. So if you're driving at a high speed down a highway, the safest thing to do is keep looking at your watch to see if you've crashed.
Fallon.
Colbert.
Google's Pixel 2 watch can now detect when you've been in a car crash, which is important to know. Okay, so if you're driving at high speed down the highway, remember, the safest thing to do is to keep looking at your watch to see if you've crashed.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I understand, you're in water.
Right, so
it tells you a bunch of stuff, but yeah. I mean, I would hope it gets sense when I've been in a crash, but I don't know if it needs to be like, hey, dude.
Told you on the weirded me out. You appear to be underwater.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if I am? Yes, I'm drowning.
Right.
I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's only 3 episodes of it out, and it's season 4. But in The Office, we've all been talking about The Boys. I believe there's 3 episodes out right now. I watched the first episode and second episode last night. I mean, I don't even know what to say other than do not watch this. And I am not kidding. Mm-hmm. I don't care if your kids have seen a rated R movie. Do not watch this in front of your... I would watch it in front of... I don't know if I'd watch it in front of anybody in my family, to be honest. I was thinking about it.
Does it make you want to order some grilled octopus?
No.
Okay.
No.
Give me no spoilers. I am not that.
I would.
Because the kids... So my wife and I, we have I think 1 episode to go in season 3.
Okay.
But we have to do this around where the kids are. They cannot physically be present because there's not a moment in that show that I want to explain to them. And I love the show, but they're now all from school, so they're staying up later and all this they're just around, And it's like, man, we really want to watch this, but you cannot be here.
I would say... I know your family well enough that you'd have to have 2 hours to tell them to hop on those scooters and go to that one person's house they always want to go to.
That might be the power move. Oh, yeah, man. Go see your buddies, guys. Yeah, go.
I mean, I'm dead serious, man. I was watching it last night, right? I got home. I watched the 3rd period of the hockey game. Good stuff. McDavid's looking like he is the man. I mean, that guy's super good. So the hockey game was good, and I said, you know what? I'm going to watch The Boys. Watched the first episode, and I was like, Jesus, man, I forgot the show. And then I started watching the second episode, and I'm just kind of laying on my couch, chilling out. And I'm telling you, it is so aggressive and graphic and stuff. I just started, I was like, well, Thrill's definitely don't watch this with kids. Then I was like, I wouldn't watch this with my mom. And I was like, would I even watch it with my brother? I had to, refocus on the show, because I was just like, I don't know who I would.
Let me go through the list of people that I cannot watch this with.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's me and Mike sitting there, I'd be like, all right, cool, we can watch it, but...
It's funny because my wife will always do that. Jesus Christ, why do we like the show? I'm like, because the show is awesome. On many levels, it's poignant. There's just all of this that goes with it.
If it was any other show that didn't have the comedic laughs and stuff, there's no chance I'd watch it.
But what you laugh at
is the worst stuff. And we'll find
Nothing
ourselves.
can prepare you for it.
You are not prepared. No matter what you see, like
Your
I did not
mind
see that
never
coming.
goes here,
right?
Which is concerning as far as the writers go. Like, how in the hell do you think of this?
The good, because in real life they are serial killers or murderers.
Yeah.
The nice thing is, at least they put it into a show instead of acting out whatever it is they actually want to do. Because
yeah, and at least we're watching a show.
Right.
I mean, it's so funny to me. Even this past weekend, the stereotype of women with serial killers and this and that. But watching women bond over that at a reception, like the cocktail hour, just like, what do you want? Like, is it like, I'm just like, why do you guys all love this? I mean, I guess I don't know, it ain't different from me watching sports or History Channel.
But ours isn't about people that are killing people.
I also forgot about that. I met a woman that actually worked for the National Geographic TV channel.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, no ass. And I'm like rattling off shows, and she's like, "Yeah, I work there. I'm glad you enjoyed them." Am I the target demo? I was like, "I'm 43," and she's like, "You're not that like." Yeah. I was like, "I thought the dude would be 50." She's like, "You're 43."
And I'm not talking about work.
I know you're not a Star Wars guy, maybe some Marvel stuff, but one of the pluses of Disney Plus is National Geographic.
Oh yeah,
Are they loaded up with them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have like.
Well, I could just watch it on National Geographic Channel or on demand with my Xfinity cable.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well done.
Nice
well
work.
done.
Nice work. Nice work.
Yeah, but I mean, I watch all that stuff. Whether it's that, there's the History Channel, there's all this different stuff. I forgot to mention yesterday, if you like Discovery Channel, the new season of Deadliest Catch is out. They replay those over and over.
Yeah.
So
Yes, they do.
right.
Did you see, Ted, where
if
the
you
one
missed
guy-
one, you could catch up on
Did you
it.
see where the one guy from the Deadliest Catch passed on?
Correct. Yeah, he worked on the Northwestern for years. I can't think of his name right now, and I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, he was kind of, was it Nick? He was the guy on the Northwestern that pretty much did everything, and he was that all-around dude and this and that. So, yeah, that was pretty sad to see.
The last picture I saw, he was wearing that Northwestern hat. And at one point in time, we had Sig and I believe his son and a couple other people came in. We all got hats. And I love that thing. I don't know where I lost that hat. But I looked at the picture like, I want that hat, man. What the hell? But I guess something happened. He got injured or had a medical emergency during the pandemic. And things weren't, for whatever reason, whether it was like the helicopter that came in to pick him up or whatever their protocols were. So he ended up suing either the channel that was on or SIG or whatever the deal was for like $1 million. So they obviously had a falling out. And then he went and bought a salmon boat. So he was
he was
kinda
salmon
living his
fishing
life
the last
up
couple of
there.
years. I remember that Northwestern hat. I gave that hat to my dad. He loved that thing. And then sometimes we forget, right? Because look, there's bars at Fremont. You run into people. Captain Keith Colburn, I sat next to him at a Kraken game this past year.
Oh, nice.
So I have a couple of those hats too, but I never really think about it. So I go back east for like a family thing or whatever, and they're just, it helps we're on the radio. So it's like, yeah, we've met those guys. But then when you live in Seattle, right now in the summertime, if you go down to Ballard and walk around, the boats are, that's where a lot of them just
Mike's
are
Chili
for
Parlor.
the summer.
Mike's Chili Parlor is like a home for them. There's
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 places they go. Like Olaf's is another one. If you talk about an old school sailor bar, or old school maritime bar, there's a number of them. And like anything else, man, those guys just go in there and, man, they made their money. They had a good season. They come back. They've got maybe a couple months to get their crap together before they have to do it again. And they have a good time at home.
Yeah. It's also always funny, too. And, look, I don't care who you are. Sometimes it just startles you. I've been in the dock at Fremont, just walked in there. One of the captains just sitting there with his buddies. They're just having a good time. But, I was outside. You walk in to pee, and then you can't help it. You're just like, oh, damn.
Yeah, if you recognize, crap.
And they're different from, to me, other reality stars in the fact that they still work on these boats and they're still working for a living as opposed to just, and look, I'm sure they get paid to show up places and this and that.
Of course.
But it's not like they were just on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and
they
that's their
work.
claim to fame.
You're watching what they do for a living. It's not like Real Housewives where it's a bunch of dramatic dumbass stuff. It's like, dude, you're just watching us at work. So now but when we don't have to work, being the summer, we're going to drink.
Till we first moved here, there's a bar in Fremont when I moved there called the Buckaroo Tavern. Now that ended up turning
Old
into
school.
Rue, and then that
Couple other places.
Now is LaCoin. But I was definitely in there for a couple late nights, and it was a complete fisherman scene. The crazy thing was that all those guys at 1:30, 1:15, absolutely obliviated. The Buckaroo Tavern did not serve liquor. They only served beer and wine. And when you looked at the table, there were 15 bottles of Miller High Life. And then you realize, like, these guys are just going to town. You couldn't get into the bathroom, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
It was one of those places where you're like, these guys are crazy, man. Like, this is kind of a hot, dangerous spot. It was almost like the cantina, you know, in Star Wars. You're like, this place could just go off at any moment.
Yeah. Well, and you drink that much beer, you're going to have to pee a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was what it was.
Let's see. Nathan Lane and Matt Boomer, they're going to start a new Hulu series called Mid-Century Modern. Basically, it's inspired by the Golden Girls. It's about three gay gentlemen of a certain age who decide to spend their golden years living together after an unexpected death. One character is described as, quote, pure of heart, heart of body, and soft of head. Kind of like Rose from the Golden Girls.
Okay.
Lane's character is more like Dorothy. They haven't said exactly who the third person will be, but there will be a third one on there. They just haven't cast it yet.
All right.
So, I mean, that adds up.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
They even tell you, it's the Golden Girls, it's the gay dudes. If you like the Golden Girls, here you go.
Yeah. Let's see. I know last time I saw watching hockey. I know your Sounders are back in action. I know the Mariners have been up in...
Sounders on tonight?
Yeah, they're playing a midweek game.
Okay.
But I wanted to remind people, too, you know, the United States this year is getting to play in the Copa America. Mm-hmm. Now, listen, I understand. If you're not a soccer person, there's so many frickin' tournaments. But the Copa America for national team stuff is very important, right? And if you could win, I don't think the United States has a shot at winning that. But, I mean, you're talking against, you know, playing against all the countries in South America, this and that. Also, if you just happen to watch English soccer or you watch, you know, overseas soccer leagues, watch the Euros. There's a lot of good teams in there. That's basically like a small little World Cup. That's kind of what it is, right? The Copa America is the kind of like the World Cup for the
Western Hemisphere system.
Yeah, whereas the Euros is that for all the European nations.
All
Right. America also has the Gold Cup, but I forget how they kind of changed the rules, and they were like, well, if you guys host, then you get to be in the Copa America. But Copa America is a massive deal. You know, so like when you play Argentina, like Messi's playing for them.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like when you see these different teams, and then I'm just saying, it's generally a very high level of soccer. So, you know, this weekend or even today, if you had a day off and you're looking for some live sports, put that on. You can watch that. Or again, if you like exciting baseball, I'm talking about people stealing bases, ripping dingers, and the sound ting. Watch some of that college football series.
I'll think you say the Mariners. No, the ting threw it off. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance, too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Here's why April chose to vaccinate her child.
I think actually meeting someone who was not vaccinated and now has a lifelong struggle with a childhood disease really cemented for me that it's super important that we as parents continue to vaccinate our children.
Talk to your pediatrician or visit yvaccines.com. Brought to you by Merck.
Picture this. It's blazing hot outside and you need to get to work. You get into your car and turn on the AC to get cold air pumping as soon as possible. But it doesn't work. Instead, blowing hot air out of your vents and directly into your face. No, your car doesn't hate you. This issue is commonly caused by low refrigerant due to leaks in the air conditioning system. And there's an easy, all-in-one solution that will restore the cold air in no time. There's no need to go to the shop and pay lots of money when you can save time and money recharging yourself with AC Pro Recharge Kits. AC Pro Recharge Kits make restoring cold air easy for even those with zero DIY experience. And the AC Pro app offers clear, vehicle-specific instructions to help you get the job done in less than 10 minutes. So pick up an AC Pro Recharge Kit at any store selling auto products. and competently restore your car's cold air yourself today. Be a pro with AC Pro.
With the $5 meal deal at McDonald's, you pick a McDouble or a McChicken, then get a small fry, a small drink, and a 4-piece McNuggets. That's a lot of McDonald's for not a lot of money.
Price and participation may vary. For a limited time only.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Florida McDonald's offers a not-so-happy meal with a side of lead. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, you get your tars and moonshine, all from a shed. Farmer gets watched back 50 years after he thought it was eaten by a cow. A gun store owner, he shows how a firearm goes pow. And a French swimmer, well, we know he bids adieu to maybe his Olympic hopes. Time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, our top story, we go to Florida, where the wily fast food employee has taken back control. We've had several stories come across this desk pertaining to people creating a disturbance inside of many a fast food establishment concerning something wrong with their order. Now in Florida, surveillance footage at a local branch shows an employee engaging in an argument with a customer at the drive-thru as they complained about something with their order. Routine. We don't know quite what they were arguing about, but it led to the employee tossing a drink in the car as it sped away from the window, only to have the customers return, force the window open, and begin to cause havoc with anything that they could reach. The employee retaliated by grabbing a bag they had waiting in the delivery area, stormed out of the store, pulled the gun that she had inside, and fired several shots at the car. Nobody was injured in the incident, and the employee is facing charges.
If you want to know how to do it right, just watch the local barista. It's hammer time.
That's
good on her,
No jail,
though, man.
she's a hero.
Right?
Just choose your weapon.
We got the local
Choose your
barista,
weapon.
right? She threw his drink in there because he's mad at the cost.
Right. Oh, he's mad at the cost. Okay.
The costs are noted.
Right.
If it says cappuccino $5, then you know your
you're
cappuccino.
talking about the coffee shop.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, the local lady.
Choose your weapon at the drive-thru.
That's right.
Because she's a hero. Now she's an idiot at McDonald's.
So the woman working started shooting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, she
ran outside and started shooting at the car while I was driving away.
So she wasn't working at Glock in the Box?
Glock in the box.
That's an Allison Chain song.
I'm the Glock in the box.
Oh, God.
Don't bitch about your burger.
I just like that move, honestly. Like, she ain't taking nothing. Like, screw
Nothing.
it, man. Like, it
Maybe she worked at Beretta King.
How many more you got?
I'm trying to think.
ARBs.
Maybe she worked at Colts Jr.
Taco Shell. It's the name, bitch.
Submachine Way.
I was just thinking
Good God. We got gun fast food jokes.
I never thought we'd get to use them.
No.
Been sitting on them for years.
We've been sitting
You
in
know
the
why?
file.
She used to work a water bullet.
You'll be in and out of lead.
Make a Dick's joke, but it's not appropriate.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Oh, okay.
It's not even funny, and here we are.
I know.
It's really not.
Like, there's
is
no
awful.
chance I woke up today and be like, we're going to make jokes combining guns
And
at fast food restaurants.
Burger joint.
Shooting at customers that are unhappy.
You brought a gun to work, though.
What?
You had a gun in your bag. You went to McDonald's.
Oh,
with a
right.
Gun, and she pulled a
She
gun
knew.
out of her bag that she brought back out. Like she had a gun in her bag at McDonald's.
Strapped and ready to go, man.
It's Florida where they let you and encourage you actually to do so. They actually
bet.
encourage you to do that. But frankly, if you work at fast food, knowing how people respond to the most trivial of matters, I don't blame her for having a gun.
all, dude.
Jesus Christ, man.
In other news, over to France, where we
Wait a
learned.
minute. Are we not supposed to bring our guns to work? I'm kidding.
Not tell anybody, Ted. We go to France, where we learn not to celebrate too hard. We toasted this gentleman earlier today. As the Olympic qualifying trials are underway, swimmers in France put their best on display in the 100-meter freestyle, the 10-meter. In a video that was shared on X, we see a pair of swimmers as the race came to the finish, but the focus is on the competitor that took second. Elated by such a great performance, the swimmer does what most any competitor would do. He's celebrating.
Yeah.
A mighty victorious roar coupled with a smashing of the water and a triumphant exertion. We all feel the pride in the swimmer in the video. That is until he starts grabbing at his shoulder in visible pain, as it appears that he's dislocated it with the move.
He was later seen in a sling, laughing and joking with the media. The word is that he should be good to go with by the time the next trial shows up 38 days from now.
Can you, are the Olympics different, or is it like any sports? Like, can you just shoot it up with something to numb the pain before he competes?
You know what? I don't know. That's a good question, man. I don't know. Because it's amateur sports, right? Technically, even our basketball team's all professionals, but it's supposed to be amateur sports. So I get that in professional sports, you numb it up because there's money on the line.
Sure.
Right?
It depends on the country.
Amateur.
There's no amateur gymnastics in Russia.
It's not that.
No. I just asking about the drug testing for the Olympics is much stricter. But also, I can't imagine he'd get in trouble if he took 4 Advil before he swam.
Right.
I think you can do probably Advil. But you know what? Don't even quote me.
It depends on the socket. It depends on the socket.
Yeah.
Like, put in okay, maybe pain for a couple days.
Yeah.
You should be back. No muscle damage.
Or swim in circles.
But whatever socket they give him, he's
no
got to go back
ligament
to the file and
damage,
get the right
hopefully.
one. Yeah. Can't find that 10 millimeter.
Never. It's because Billy used it to make a bong out of a plastic bottle.
You needed a socket.
You didn't tear your meniscus. You know?
Yeah, people. I used to have friends who would do that because it makes like the little bowl.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on this for 2 hours because you had to smoke your dope.
What are the first events? Does anyone off the top of their head of the Summer Olympics, right? Because the thing is, it's all about sex with the Olympians, which I get. I would too if I could do that.
The opening ceremony.
But they said, basically, whatever the first sports are, they're the happiest. Because you still get another 12 days, but they are just having mad sex. Where the other competitors that go at the end, it's like a boxing match or something, right? You try not to have sex.
Sure.
But everyone around you
focused.
is having sex. And I'm like, I am the second to last day.
Unless you're trying to sabotage your opponent. Oh, no.
Oops.
Over to Pennsylvania, where you can get something extra with your tires. Troopers in the area went to the local tire shop and were able to ask the son of the owner for multiple flavors of homemade moonshine.
All right.
He returned with quart jars of the sauce that were taken back as evidence by troopers. After multiple trips to the tire shop where they were able to freely buy the bootleg moonshine, they eventually moved in and arrested him. He sang like a canary, too. Oh, yeah, I make about this many liters a day, as many gallons.
Trying to look this up, Thrill, but it looks like there's, ironically, there's some handball. Like soccer starts, like rugby 7 start, but they got to play a lot of games.
They do.
Same with handball, so I guess maybe archery, but I don't.
All right, so the archers are getting laid first.
All
I mean,
right.
that's basically what I'm looking for here.
But they are in a couple events. That's the tough thing, too. There's so many events.
I got a string you can pull.
You do what again? I'm an archer.
But generally, look, if you're in one of the cool events in the Summer Olympics, like the 100 dash, basketball, this or that, beach fight, you're probably going to be a little bit later in the
I'm
2
sorry.
weeks.
If archery is an Olympic event, so should darts.
I agree.
So should pool.
Why not?
Really, come on, man.
But archery used to be a necessary thing.
I think darts are becoming an Olympic event.
If you're Robin Hood.
I think darts are becoming one.
Good.
By the way, guys, not to go back in time, but some of our texters out there were grooving with the fast food jokes. So some of their, we have Glocco Del Mar.
Oh, nice. That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Suzanne basically is giving us a jingle, AK, have it your way. No, Smith and Wendy's.
Smith and Wendy's.
Good work. Good work.
Did we say BK-47?
Men's boys, the Oilers spoiled the home victory for the Panthers to stay alive in the Stanley Cup final, closing the gap in the series to 3-2 and pushing a Game 6. That'll go down this Friday at 5 in Edmonton. Your Seattle Mariners came up big against the Cleveland Guardians to take Game 1 of the series last night, winning 8-5. Game 2 is currently underway with Brian Wu getting the start over en route. It's about 2 more outs away from being done.
And Mike's not watching it at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Also, hey, shout out to the Firebirds.
Yeah.
Yes. They're up 2-1 in that final series.
Let's go,
nice,
baby.
guys.
Let's go,
And
Firebirds.
you lost your coach.
And you lost your
Seriously.
That's right. He's coming up here.
They did this with other coach.
Is he not coaching down there right now?
He might be,
No.
but he's gone. Yeah,
No kidding. Once he gets picked up, he's not.
Yeah, the assistant's running the team.
he's gone.
Gotcha. As far as your weather, temperatures peaking as we speak, and it'll be cooling down to the mid-50s tonight, and that'll make way into tomorrow, where we can expect even more sunny skies and a high of 78. And that is it for your headlines with that. Mike Hawkins out.
Head Chef is back with 10 speed of potatoes in the game known as Big Dummy. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, We be all about this bitch. So until tomorrow, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Inside every California avocado is a story. It's shaped by idyllic conditions, full of rich soil, gentle rain, and friendly California sunshine, where avocados flourish. Crafted with care by dedicated local farmers who are committed to responsible, sustainable growing. The best avocados have California in them. To understand why, all you have to do is open one up. In season now. Visit CaliforniaAvocado.com to learn more.